Hey everyone, welcome back to the Heroes World Quarantine Podcast. I am here, of course, with the owners and proprietors of Heroes World, John and Andre.
Hello.
Hello.
And of course, with DC Mega Super Duper fanboy himself, Rob Gaudette.
What up? What up? Let's talk about
you're
that.
going to be wearing the mascara.
This is the one day for him to shine. If those who are listening at home, Rob is wearing a Wonder Woman tiara, just to let you know, visualize that he is ready to go. Let's go. So today we're going to talk about the DC fandom. But of course, if you're wondering what the heck we're doing today, this is, of course, the Heroes World Podcast, where we chat about various geek and pop culture topics. This is pretty much what we would be doing normally in the store. We're just recording it and casting it out to the interwebs, the internets, the world. So here we go. DC Fandom or FanDome, whichever you want to refer to it as, dropped yesterday, Saturday. So I just wanted to get people's overall quick thoughts on the experience of fandom. So I'm going to let Andre go first. Andre, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was a very excellent executed event. Thought the idea was awesome. The production value was awesome. The fact that they globalized it and had hosts in different languages. This was exactly what it was advertised. This is an event for fans to let them see all the cool stuff that DC is working on. And with the lack of conventions and stuff because of the situation around the world with the pandemic, kudos to DC for coming up with it. Just I thought like an amazing event. Now they have set that bar high. Let's see if anybody can come. Let's see if Marvel/Disney does something. I'd love to see Image Comics do something like it. But hey, these guys gave back to the fans on there. Like so far we've seen movie stuff, we've seen like art stuff, we've seen some video game stuff, we've seen like everything that they've got on tap up till 2022, and we still got more content coming today, which is Sunday. So yeah, so first impressions on it, like amazing. Kudos, props to DC for it.
Awesome. John, what are your thoughts?
So I didn't get to watch any of it like live really on the stream, but I really like the idea, the format they set up, the presentation style. I liked that it was pre-recorded. I don't know if they would do that in the future so that everything kind of ran on time. I don't know if it actually fully ran on time, but it looked like everything was going according to schedule. And I liked that they had a link to all the swag that you could buy as well. So I really hope that, this was, I guess, I don't know how much time they had to put all this together, but I hope that if they do this in the future, that somehow we can be included and maybe we can get some kind of exclusive swag that you could pick up at a comic store or something like that. Because I would love to be included in something like this. And yeah, other than that, I thought it looked really nice.
Rob?
I'm just going to kind of reiterate what Andre said. Man, Matt, like that is a lot of work. I saw Jim Lee did a live video on Friday night and was just kind of saying on Instagram, was saying, just hundreds and hundreds of employees working overtime, putting all of this together in really only a few short months. So yeah, they were working on some stuff for San Diego Comic-Con, but to do this, to make it what it was, and then realizing 3 days out, we got to break it up into two different divisions. September 12th is the second part where we're focusing more on TV, comics, and kids stuff. But it's a huge undertaking. Big kudos to DC. After 2 weeks ago, we had the bloodbath, and then come back with this. As a fanboy, completely redeemed. I loved every minute of it. I've never gone to Comic-Con, and we've discussed this before. I know Andre has. But for me, sitting at home, I felt like I was there. I was watching. I was on the Twitter feed. We were chatting, the four of us online, about us together. So the only negative I was just going to say is that, they had the schedule. You could add it to your Outlook calendar or your iPhone calendar or whatever. I had it. The problem was that when you hit the link on your schedule, it only took you back to the scheduler as opposed to the video, right? So you had to go to a different site to be able to watch the video. So that was, for me, that was the only bit of a glitch. Like I pressed to go to the 1 o'clock, the Wonder Woman panel, and it just took me back to the schedule as opposed to linking me to the video. So that for me was the only hiccup. But aside from that, loved it. I've watched a couple of the replays, been watching the panels again. Amazing.
Yeah, so thoughts. I enjoyed watching the look of it. You could see that they took a lot of what went wrong with San Diego Comic-Con. They recognized that some of the additional panels they had, they asked people to pre-register to kind of get a sense of who was attending, and they probably noticed a disparity with everyone signing up for the movie stuff and the TV shows being probably lower numbers. And instead of doing two separate ones, which works at a live convention, they decided, we'll separate it 2 days. So congratulations for them for a great event, pivoting when necessary. I think it was good for them to do 2 separate days. I think what I missed about it was something about the energy of a live Q&A questions. You could see a lot of them were softballs. A lot of it's like, oh, hello, random Gal Gadot question. I was like, is it random Gal Gadot question? Like everything seemed a little
pretended it was live.
Yeah, it was a little too much. Like, I get it, but like the energy of like when, as much as some people didn't like Spider-Man, when they had an actor wear the mask and ask a question and take it off, and it was Spider-Man himself, or different kind of at real Comic-Con. You can't emulate that type of energy and feeling of it. But I guess from a time portion either, it was nice to just get straight to it. I think I spent some time thinking about Comic-Con, and as an hour panel, but 20 minutes of it is technical issues, and then let me introduce this person, and 30 seconds of someone walking on stage and waving. It's like, hi, fixing a mic, sitting in the wrong spot,
sound
shuffling
issues,
across.
Sound issues, like buzzing sounds and stuff like that. I didn't hear any of that.
There was a moment, so like if you think about the cons, even the giant panels of DC or Marvel, it's like half the time it's like, now let me introduce this person, then they walk across the floor, and then they sit down, and they're like, hey everyone, and it's like, okay, now let me introduce that person. So really, an hour panel is pretty much still only half an hour if you include all the other fanatical that they have to do. So again, DC did a nice job in putting it together. Ideally, in the future, I'd like it to be one giant. Just forgetting stuff about that. Like Rob was saying, small different rooms, just one giant stream, and just throw it in. You could just watch it. And ideally, that would be the best way to do it. So forget about Hall H. Just do one super mega stream. But so that's the general thoughts. So here's some random news. I'll get your thoughts. Anyone, feel free to chime in after I go through this. So outside of the big news that dropped, here's some of the random things that happened in the panels. So I'll get everyone's thoughts. Random news. So Static Shock movies in development. No surprise, that's happening. The revival of Milestone Media of DC Imprints is happening. So Milestone Comics is here, so it's going to be.
There wasn't much new. Just that they're saying it's back on track. I guess
it's back on track. It's going to focus on diversity, African American.
Yeah.
Again, thanks, John, for interrupting me. Great.
Sorry.
Great on cue. Perfect as always.
I don't know if you were moving to the next topic.
I am moving. Yeah, again, perfect, John. On cue. Don't listen.
All right, next topic. There you go.
Again, no, I'm going to do it all and let you jump in afterwards. Again.
Okay, what else can I jump in on? Hold
on. Tyrese was introduced as Green Lantern. Oh, yes. No, that didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. Tyrese was asked not to come back and escorted out of the building.
Ever.
Okay, so next news, Patrick Wilson has been confirmed to come back in Aquaman 2. Nothing else has been confirmed except for New World Underwater. So
seaweed handcuffs.
Yeah, seaweed handcuffs. Titans Season 3 announced that the Red Hood is coming back or being introduced. Womp womp. Batwoman, Barbara Gordon, and Scarecrow is potentially going to be in the season. And then the other note is for the Sandman, which is a property that they've been trying to do forever. The Netflix series, nothing has been done, of course, because of COVID. But Neil said, hey, we got more time to work on scripts. And if you're jonesing, the audio drama is available on Audible. So if you really want to watch Lucifer Morningstar in all his glory and not the abomination that's the TV show, please listen to that. So general thoughts on kind of the random news that dropped. Anyone? Andre? Rob? John? Go for it.
Well, okay, I'll so yeah, I didn't really, I'll be very honest with you, I didn't listen to the Sandman stuff. Big respect to Neil Gaiman, but it wasn't my thing. So I'm not really, I have nothing to comment on that. The Aquaman one kind of I was a bit disappointed in so much as I thought we would have seen some artwork, not the same stuff that I've watched on my Blu-ray special features James Wan and Patrick Wilson just kind of looking like they were maybe a few drinks into a Zoom conference with each other, talking about, I mean, Patrick Wilson, I don't even think he had any idea. He was like, so I'm still in jail and maybe I can swim.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't really, what was the point of this? I was a little bit surprised that Jason Momoa was not part of any of Fandom yesterday. He wasn't part of Aquaman stuff. He wasn't part of the JL stuff. The milestone, I'm happy to hear that that's come back. I think it was a fairly long panel. I feel like
it was.
I know
Phil
that
Lamar
Mark
was
Bernard,
there as well. So
so it was
Samurai Jack himself.
It was almost
Static Shock.
35-minute panel, I think,
Yep.
or 40-minute panel. Mark Bernardin was hosting that with Jim
Yep.
Lee, and so cool about that. That's those quick little hits. Yeah, they were okay, but Aquaman to me was why even have that in there? It made no sense.
Time
Nothing
filler.
was revealed. Yeah, but it was stupid, right? Give me more DC pets if that's what you're gonna do, because that's kind of what it amounted to, is looking at people dressing their dogs up as Batman and Superman. It meant nothing.
Andre?
I guess they had to address it though, like, because people would have wanted to hear something about it, even though they know it's going to be well off. But I do think like the quick news that we got, at least it was answering some questions for people. It's good to have a definitive date for the milestone stuff. Like, we're really good friends with Ken Lashley, and he let us know about that a couple years ago that it was coming, but they did have some legal issues and stuff. So I'm glad that they've worked that out. And I think again, it's sometimes timing just lands, and I think there's not a better moment for that stuff to come out. So I hope Warner Brothers and DC is going to push this product and give it time to find its audience, give it time for the audience to find it. And not just be like, 6 months in, there's no sales. This is the type of thing that you've got to be, as the saying goes, in for a penny, in for a pound, right? So let's hope that they do that. The TV show stuff, unfortunately, I'm not the hugest fan of the Titans show and stuff like that. But again, it's good news for the people that want to hear about it. And like I said, this was an event, for the fans. So them letting us know. And again, it just sucks that all of these dates are kind of so far off, because we don't know, when production will be able to ramp back up for stuff.
Well, if Titans is filmed in Toronto, so based on that, it should be soon. So good news for those who are downtown in Toronto, because, Vancouver is going to start filming soon. Ben Affleck's now filming a movie in Vancouver because they can't do it in the States. So movies are starting to come back, and TV Vancouver is starting up again as well. So it's happening.
I actually, sorry, I forgot about the whole Titans thing. I messaged you, Stu, yesterday. I don't want to see Kieran Walters as Red Hood. First of all, I think he's too young.
I agree, but it is what it is.
I like season 2 of Titans more than season 1, but
hard pass on all of it. I watched it all. I'm good. I watch it just so I'm informed, and my God, pass. It's a hard pass. Yeah, I watched a surprising amount of DC properties, and man, oh man, they're really swinging for something. John?
No, look, you guys saw more than me. The only thing I'll shout out is I saw a little bit of the Venus Williams interview, and then I clicked her athletic Wonder Woman line, and it looked really fantastic, and it looked like most of it sold out. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so now on to the bigger, more exciting news. Wonder Woman 1984. So before we get into the panel itself, it was an interesting panel. I don't know if people, but I'll talk briefly about kind of the most interesting part of it, and then I'll get everyone's thoughts on the panel and of the trailer, the actual trailer that had stuff in it. Because every other trailer has been very ambiguous, and this one seems to have a lot of stuff. So the panel highlight was the regular folk were there: Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, Patty Jenkins, all the same folks. And it was Linda Carter showed up, surprising everyone, and
awesome.
She was a breath of fresh air. She kind of had a real good anecdote story about how she kind of pulled everyone's heartstring. Kristen Wiig gushed to her, which any person would if you met Linda Hamilton in person, or Linda Carter. Sorry,
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter.
Linda Hamilton too.
Linda Hamilton. But Linda Carter was talking about how, you know, when she had a nice story about her daughter was reacting to see Gal Gadot in the costume, and the iconic costume. And when you know, Linda's daughter saw it, she, in quotes, basically said, when my daughter saw Gal as Wonder Woman, she said, "Mom, I finally get it. I finally understand why everyone idolizes you. I finally get what Wonder Woman means to everyone." So I think it's kind of one of those things, even your kids maybe don't see it. So, you know, so for her to say that, and it was really nice for her to show up and add some nice, kind notes to the panel. So that was probably the best part. Everything else kind of a snooze fest. You know, they can't say anything. So other than that, they were, a lot of the panels, and you'll see this as an ongoing theme, relied on someone else coming in, because no one can say anything about plot or character or anything. It's really, really weird. But yeah, and then the trailer came out. So we'll get to Rob at the end, because Rob loved the trailer probably the most of all of us. John, what's your thoughts of the Wonder Woman 84 trailer?
Okay, yeah. So I actually had previously not seen anything, because I knew I was going to go watch this in the theater, so I didn't bother watching anything that dropped. So this is my first time actually seeing what's going to be in the new movie. So first of all, Steve Trevor's back. I guess that's a mystery, how that's going down. The gold costume looks like fire, especially when the wings drop off during the trailer. Those look really good. There's an action figure that McFarlane just made, and it's really hot right now, and I'm not surprised, because the costume does look good. Kristen Wiig, I'm not really super familiar with her, but she looked pretty good. Like she looked like she was in good shape. They looked like they're doing a lot of wire work, which when I was in my younger days, I'd be like, oh man, wire work. But for this type of movie, for this type of character, I think it really suits. So it did look really good. She's like flying horizontally and stuff like that. I am slightly concerned over the CG of how Cheetah will look. I'm worried that it's going to be like too, like, you know, like, I don't know,
Cheetah
like Blade 2-ish. Yeah. I don't know. It looked like, you know, when they get like too skinny and too bendy and stuff like that. I'm a little worried about that, but you know, it's a big budget movie, so it'll probably look good on screen. But other than that, yeah, it looked really good. I had to look up Apex Predator. I'm not very familiar with a lot of these terminologies at the top of the food chain, so I'm like, okay. I'm like, is this a special term that I'm not aware of? But yeah, other than that, I thought
Like a great white shark,
really
John. It's a great white shark. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I thought it looked really good. Yeah.
To be fair, I think for the CGI, before I get to Andre, is that you know, I think the original, and Andre will roll his eyes, the original Thor Ragnarok trailer, Hulk didn't look as great, and they spent some more time rendering. So if you watch the original trailer they unveiled at Comic-Con, the previs was much better later on.
It could be lighting in too and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but so this movie's done. It's in the can though. This was supposed to be out already like 2 months
ago. It's like 2 years, right? 2 years ago they were showing.
Yeah, but this is done. It was supposed to drop in July. Okay, so
but they could still fix CGI on the same side, so maybe they can go back and fix it if people really hate it. It's not like Sonic the Hedgehog also fixed everything after the fact, so it's just money.
Yeah, I'm not saying it looked bad. I am concerned that it could, you know,
but I think also the fact that it's set up is that maybe Cheetah doesn't become Cheetah to the very last act, and they can get around it, because I think Cheetah it
looked like they're investing a lot in, like, you see a lot of the progression of the character in that one trailer.
She doesn't really become it till the end, and I think from that, it's like she's a character that looks better in comics than in clearly in CGI. So we'll see. Andre, what's your general thoughts on watching 84?
I like
and your hate for Pedro Pascal. So let's see what you say about that. The Mandalorian himself.
I think the trailer was fine. I think unfortunately the movie's in a really weird place, because it was supposed to come out in June.
Mm-hmm.
This trailer, I think, unfortunately just revealed a little bit more than the last two trailers. And I will say that the previous trailer, I can't remember what it came out. That trailer was just amazing. It had the what do we call it? The cover of Blue Monday.
Yeah,
that was the original by New Order.
Huh?
That was their original. It was the original Blue Monday New Order. Yep.
No, it was a cover in the trailer, bro. Anyways. Okay. It's a cover. It's because it's wicked. Like, I remember seeing that trailer and I instantly freaking went online to find it. The cover was fantastic. Okay. And that trailer, that second trailer, John, if you go back and watch it, it doesn't reveal as much. We don't see Cheetah. We don't see more of the plot. To me, that was a better trailer because the movie was supposed to come out. Now, unfortunately, with no release date for this movie, they want to keep people's interest. So I think they're showing more and more. So I'm not saying that the trailer looked bad. I just think the trailer just revealed, too much. There's you can probably put the movie really together from that, but I don't know how else they market this thing anymore now. Like without, I don't know. And I think honestly, I know the world is crazy and it's not going to make them, no matter what, this movie can't make them the money that it needs to make them. But I don't know how much they're going to lose by just
sitting on it.
It might be this, they might just be like, shoot, we just got to put this out for people to buy digitally or on a Blu-ray fast, because if it doesn't come out by Christmas this year or whatever, and again, the world might not be ready for it. We're seeing spikes back all around the world, but I don't know what you do with this, but I think this movie has the potential to be better than the first one, but I don't know. It's not going to make the same money. So people are going to be like, oh, it didn't make as much money. Well, it got made during or was supposed to be released during a pandemic. Yeah. But yeah, just
Wonder Woman isn't Black Widow in the same situation? Because I think the Black Widow trailer also had a lot of stuff in it. But
I would think with Black Widow, unfortunately fortunately she's coming off of how many Marvel movie appearances and stuff. So if this movie didn't do well, it's people could blame it on a myriad of other things. But Wonder Woman came off of a really successful first movie, so this one should do better in all respects and regards. And I don't think I don't want to say I don't think it will, but it's skating uphill, right? So it's gonna be tough. But I would highly recommend, especially John, check out that second trailer. It was
good to see her as Wonder Woman. It's been a while since I saw her as Wonder Woman too.
So Andre, do you feel that this went full bloodshot on us on the trailer, that you kind of already know what's happening in the movie?
Well, I think
the twist.
I think I already know the twist. So
I think you can kind of get a little bit of the twist, but I don't think it was because of the twist. I think it was the reveals, like in that trailer that I really liked. You saw her ride the lightning. And then in this trailer, you see her ride it during the daytime. So I'm like, okay, this is the new thing. And then you see these really cool action scenes where she's spinning the lasso and deflecting bullets. I'm like, shoot, man. It's almost like the Phantom Menace trailer. If we didn't see the double-bladed lightsaber, we would have been like, oh, shit, we've almost seen everything. And I will say in this trailer, when she grabs Cheetah and does that, aerial toss, again, amazing. But I don't want to see that, because I think people, when they cut these trailers, they are using the best parts of the movie, and it's going to be hard to come up with something else. So, hey,
that wing drops shot, that was crazy.
I just hope there's even more to this movie, because if not, like I said, they're just giving away too much.
It could be a balance, because as you know, Andre, they do trailers where they do fake trailers. So the Avengers, they added scenes where it didn't exist.
Yeah. So
maybe that, to people's dismay, they might pull the rug, and it's like this scene that looks really cool is not in it. So we'll see. All right. I'm going to finally unleash the Kraken, which is Rob. So
you don't want to say anything first, Stu? Because Rob's going to go on for the next hour.
No. Rob also knows Batman has to come up. So if Rob talks
about Batman,
he loses Batman time. So Rob is very aware.
Yeah.
Go for it, Rob.
It was great. Next.
It's like a meter.
No, listen, I agree. This will be one of the very few times during this episode where Andre and I are in sync. I agree with I don't remember the second trailer. I remember the first one that came out in December, where it used the remix or whatever of New Order's Blue Monday. That, because it had a feel. This movie takes place, obviously, per the title, in 1984. And we watched that trailer a few times last night, Andre, and it made you feel like you were in 1984. This trailer didn't do that.
Nope.
I watched this new trailer.
You sure, Rob? You don't own the fanny pack with the Miami Vice outfit?
While I am not an American, I will plead the fifth on that one, John. Thank you very much. I watched the trailer from yesterday. It didn't make me feel like I was in 1984. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's your hook. You want somebody to feel like you're being transported back into that time.
I agree with you. Yeah,
enjoy,
it felt modern.
yeah, I did enjoy what I saw. I mean, first of all, I think it's bright, it's colorful, it looks gorgeous. I'm very excited to see it. I just showed it to the wife and kids this morning, and my wife was cracking up at Steve Trevor, at the very end, with the fanny pack and the parachute pants. Listen, man, Chris Pine can do no wrong. That's this guy. He brings a sense of humor to these movies that I think is refreshing and fun. It doesn't feel forced. I'm really excited to see this movie. I wish, as we've all said before, timeless, and even just now, I don't want them sitting on this. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if you put this in theaters and hope people come out and then, 7 weeks later they drop it onto a video on demand. But if they drop this, if they come out and they say in October, listen, guys, it's too crazy, $30, $35 in Canada, I would go for it. I would get it. There's very few movies I would spend that money on. But I want to see this movie. It's ready. Please just give it to us. But I agree with Andre. There's a lot of money shots in this trailer. Everybody loved the riding the lightning in that first trailer, and then to show it a couple more times, I was like, well, you've kind of gone to the well a bit more. I want to be excited. So hopefully there's a few more shots that we haven't seen that gets us really excited. But bring on Wonder Woman 84.
So two quick points. One, for the love of sweet baby Jesus himself, please everyone buy Mulan, because if Mulan works and everyone buys that movie, then Wonder Woman will come out.
I have a problem with that, Stu.
$30
why is it 34 in Canada? Listen, I get we have a price difference between the US
You gotta do it, because
it's digital. Why is there a price difference on digital? It's not a physical media. There's no reason.
The thing is, either well, here's the thing. If you brought your wife and your 2 kids to watch the movie in the theater, it's more than $34 Canadian. So you're watching it at home.
Yeah, I don't.
So if you went to the theater, how much would it cost you for a family of 4, Rob?
First of all,
$200
plus food, plus snacks, plus driving, like 30. It depends on what you're doing.
All I'm saying is, on principle, I have an issue with charging more because you live in Canada when there's no physical, there's nothing tangible to say. You're not trucking.
We live in a digital age, Rob. This is just like video games.
But that's right. Then it just shouldn't be more expensive.
Well, Rob, if you bought something on iTunes that was $1.99 US, is it $2.99 Canadian, or is it still $1.99?
No, it's higher.
So that's just what it is, right? Like,
but it doesn't make. But it just doesn't. Like, I guess $1 I can understand, but a $5 or $6 difference to me is the
exchange rate, man. But here's the thing: if you
it's not $39.99, what the true exchange rate would be, right? So,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're all waiting for each other to see what happens. This whole event was prefaced on watching Comic-Con succeed in some ways and fail in others. And they've adjusted, and everyone's waiting to see what Disney does anyway.
I don't know though. I don't know if Mulan is the barometer on this, because you do have to have a Disney Plus subscription as well. I actually think you could be a combination of how Mulan does and also how Bill and Ted's does. That's being released day and date in the theater and online. We don't know the price point for that, but I think that those 2 movies in conjunction is not going to be one or the other. I think those 2 movies will inform studios of what they're going to do on future plans.
We'll see. It's like, again, would you pay $40 for this movie? I probably would, just to get it, just to watch it. So
Mulan?
No, Wonder Woman.
No,
so supply and demand.
Yeah.
It's supply and demand.
Like a movie of this caliber. One of these movies.
If it was $40 to watch Black Widow
too,
I'd be like, yeah, let's just get it over with. I want to watch it now.
Do you want to own that? Is that $40 a rental for $48, or is that $40?
That's a watch
for a 48-hour rental.
A single watch, yeah.
Single watch.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Movie style. Ticket.
It's already $20-something already.
But then you buy it for $25, so now you're $65 in the hole.
But that's what
you're going to buy it anyway.
That's what it was anyways,
right?
But what I'm saying is, I think we can all agree, going to a theater is a way different experience than I like watching stuff at home.
Can't go to the theater now. I would know that. You know how much I dislike the Marvel movies. I would pay $40 to watch Black Widow, and if it was good, I would buy it. Same thing with Wonder Woman. Like Wonder Woman, I would. I own the first one. I went to the theater to see the first one. It was me and the wife. I would pay $40 again to watch it from home. And if it was good, I would pay $29.99 for the Blu-ray.
I think that $40.
I know we're in the minority.
Like, if you did it that way and you bought it and you owned it, then prepare for the movies to cost $100 million only. They're not making $250 million movies anymore because you can't afford to do it.
But what
So
I'm
if
saying is,
you
though,
want it
is
that way, then
right. But the four of us, and as Andre just said, we're all in the minority. We might be like, yeah, we'll take it. The average person is going to have a tough time swallowing a $40 price tag for a 48-hour rental. That's all I'm saying. We have to remove ourselves from everybody else because we're fanboys, and so we have a vested interest in this stuff. Not everybody is like that.
I think for a family, or if it's a date night and people want to do it at home, it makes sense to do it that way.
You know what's
That's how
actually
much it
weird
costs.
is they talked about this, I think, a couple years back, and I remember saying that, you know, it's not necessarily a bad idea because there's some families of four that can't afford to go see a movie. And if you could get a 48-hour rental for $30-$40 for a kid's movie, and then you don't have to worry about taking your kids to the bathroom during the movie, who wants popcorn, who wants licorice, who wants it, like, it's not a bad idea. The problem will be is if enough people want to adopt it, and also, you know, it might be a more of a North American thing where people are used to having big TVs in their homes and stuff like that. Yeah, no one's gonna pay $40 to watch it on their freaking iPad, or I shouldn't say nobody, but that would be, like, to me, a further stretch. But
I think some people will.
I don't think the idea is a bad one. But again, if they're gonna start going back to filming movies now, they definitely have to have a plan in mind for half the theaters in the world, or theaters being at half capacity for the next 2 to 3 years. So if they're making stuff, they've got to know they're like, well, we're either going to have a loss, or like Stu said, we're going to cut budgets and do different turnover for it.
Yep. So this is a longer tail
The
conversation.
Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately for all of us involved. Are you
Yeah,
happy, Rob?
I gotta put popcorn. I gotta put popcorn and licorice on my grocery list though. Now that sounds good, Andre. I want some licorice.
You're gonna watch them all intertwined like those Christmas movies. There you go. Shout out to Tim. The other thing too, as before we jump over, is that this keeps on when Wonder Woman 1 finished. I think we all had that conversation. How are they going to fix the Steve Trevor problem? Like, Chris Pine is fantastic and wonderful. And I think it's going to reiterate the conversation again. When this movie's done and Chris Pine is gone, what are they going to do for Wonder Woman 3? Because Chris Pine is, as Rob said, awesome. And he is always a breath of fresh air, and he's delightful in these movies. So again, we're going to go to a third one. And it's like, oh, no, Chris Pine, this going to be rough. So we'll see what happens.
Lazarus Pit.
Chris Pine is the Martian Manhunter.
Oh boy, we'll see. I'm surprised they're not Armie Hammer. Clearly, he has chemistry with Gal Gadot. Did you think about that already? So clearly, they can work together in a film. But all right, so we're gonna jump over to the next topic. Gotham Knights video game by WB Interactive Entertainment. This is a game that Batman, spoiler, has died. So it's now.
Oh, spoiler! It's in the trailer.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So it's time, and Jim Gordon is dead. So it's time for the Red Hood, Robin, Nightwing, and Batwoman to step up.
Batgirl.
And Batgirl to take over and take on the Court of the Owls. So what's generally your thoughts of the trailer and the gameplay, Andre?
I thought it was pretty interesting. You know, at first when it was just the CG intro, I was like, okay, they got to show us a little bit more. And at first I was like, okay, this doesn't look next gen. It doesn't look right. And then they're like, oh, 4-player co-op. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
It's two.
Oh, it's only 2-player co-op? Okay, so now it's gone down. Okay.
4-player Suicide Squad is 4-player. Right? 4-player Suicide Squad is dope. Yeah.
So unfortunately, now it goes down. 2-player co-op, probably not enough for me to buy the game. I did like Batman Arkham Origins by WB Studio, but this looks like a totally different beast. And I just hope they don't do one of these exclusives where, oh, you want to play as Batman, buy it on the PS5, because you know we're in that zone with the.
You want Azrael? You want Azrael? You got to buy PlayStation.
So, yeah. I hope they don't do that nonsense. Very surprised that we got this game, and we're also getting Suicide Squad. And again, anybody who's a gamer, anybody who's a and knows Bruce Wayne is not dead, and you know that you'll finish the game and unlock him or whatever and play. So hopefully it's a decent game. You know, again, the stuff looked interesting. But yeah, that's what I'll say for this one.
John?
Yeah, so Grand Theft Auto in the Batman universe, I'm in. I thought it looked really good. The designs were a good lesson in, I don't know if you guys played the Avengers beta. The designs for those Avengers characters were very weird. But all these new Batman designs look like completely new and original, and I thought they all looked really good. So much so that, and even the concept, the whole idea of Batman being dead and all his family taking over. Like this should be a book. This should be a new DC book to launch to coincide.
It's happened
with it,
so
right?
many times, John, with Batman disappearing and someone taking over. So it's not.
Yeah, but they should like with the popularity of the Injustice book, people seem to like alternate worlds.
It will
Yeah.
be.
So I think it should definitely be a book and something they could tie in. I think that would be very good. I really like the Court of Owls reveal. So pushing this new villain that kind of everyone's unfamiliar with. So that's really cool. I've already had people ask me for Court of Owl graphic novels and stuff like that. So I think that's a cool thing that we can now kind of get in on the action. And I just hope that I like the 2-player mode. If you've ever tried to play Grand Theft Auto, the heist required 4 people, and that was a pain in the butt to organize. People would drop out, and if one person died, you'd lose the whole heist. So 2 people, I think, is a good start, and maybe they'll add 4 people later on. And I like the idea of the co-op because it makes stealth an actual viable mechanic. Whereas normally, if you're playing single player, yeah, sure, there's a stealth option. Are you ever going to do the stealth option? Not me. I'm going to go in guns blazing. But now that you have 2 people and you might want to coordinate, then you actually have incentive to try and be Batman-like and stealth into the shadows and stuff like that. And other than that, I just really hope the vehicles control well. I hate when they that Batmobile controls for whatever that Batman game was.
Arkham Knights
was horrible. So I hope they take a page from Grand Theft Auto and just all the vehicles and things that you can drive in Grand Theft Auto pretty much control well. So even if something you think should control like a pile of shit, it kind of just moves a little slower. So you can still move it and stuff like that. So I hope they don't have you drive around vehicles and intentionally make them numb or whatever. So other than that, it looked great. And I don't play a lot of the games, but I think this game I think I definitely will be in for.
Rob?
First of all, listen, we got to give a big shout out to WB Montreal. All right, they Andre said they referenced the Arkham Origins. They were in the shadow of Rocksteady and the Arkham trilogy. Well, at that point it was the 2 games. WB Montreal have come out. This shows, pride in Canada, man. A lot of Canadian designers have done an excellent job. This game looks amazing, as John said. The visuals on the costumes are phenomenal. The only thing, the Robin, the Damian Wayne one, looks a little bit too bulky for me, like he's wearing a vest. Is that a life preserver from Back to the Future? So I was a little bit on that one, but it looks amazing. I'm excited for the Court of Owls. We're recording this on Sunday. John had posted something about ordering more of the trades, and one of his friends had commented that he hadn't read it, and I just gave the guy a message saying, listen, man, I was out of comics for a long time. Andre was the one when I went into the store, said, you want to pick up Batman? Pick up this first trade of Court of Owls. And I crushed it in 2 days and came back and got the rest of the trades for that whole storyline. So I love the Court of Owls stuff. I'm very excited for this. I'm excited for the game. And as a gamer myself, I'm not an early adapter or adopter of new technology. In terms of the PS5, I probably won't get it opening this Christmas. Maybe I will. I highly doubt it. But I'm glad to see though that it's going to be out on multiple platforms: PS4, Xbox One, PS5, and then the new Xbox, whatever it's called, and I think PC. So it's great. It allows, it's open, so everybody can hopefully get it. 2021. Who knows when? Are we looking at September or fall, winter? I don't know. But I'm excited for it, and I want to play it.
Yeah, the trailer looks good. I thought it was kind of a missed opportunity to add diversity. So whether it was Batwing or Cassandra Cain, I thought their styles, because they mentioned constantly in the trailer, well, each one has their own different specialty. I'm like, well, Cassandra Cain's a trained assassin, so if you want a full fight mode, she's better than pretty much all 4 of those people combined. And if you want a complete tech person, then Luke Fox is the
they
right
mentioned
one too.
The skill trees, right?
They're like, oh, it's, I'm like, well,
so
technically, Red Hood, Robin, Nightwing, Batwoman, they're all almost the same except for one uses a gun at times. So I thought that they kind of missed an opportunity to try something different. But again, I'll hold and see what happens. Maybe those are characters you can unlock or do something else. But in terms of, seeing the true representation of the Batman family, this is not really that much of a Batman family. It's kind of a snapshot. I was really hoping that I would see, Dick in the Batman costume, and that's what we could do, and it'd be awesome. because, as I've said numerous times, he is the best Batman. So I'm gonna let that continue and let that sink in.
Well, if you follow the progression, it goes criminal, vigilante, hero, knight. So maybe you turn into Batman at the end.
Yeah, if Nightwing maybe. Yeah, like again.
Yeah, maybe the final level. It's like whoever
hope so.
character you've chosen becomes Batman or something like that.
Maybe
I hope
Bruce
so.
Wayne is the Talon.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. Let's keep on going. Suicide Squad. James Gunn released his featurette / visual lineup. So I'll go through a few quick points and then I'll get people's thoughts. So he unveiled his whole Suicide Squad. No kind of real surprises, I guess. Nathan Fillion, as Rob was mentioning, who the heck is TDK? So that
TDK.
again, that happened. Again, it just dropped.
What's his acronym for, though? You like, for those who don't know what TDK stands for, what is it?
You now know what it is, Rob. What is it?
It's the dismembering kid.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, honestly,
he can
it takes
take
me a
off
while to
his
think about it.
arms and use it as weapons. So that's
Right.
exactly what you want as in the Suicide Squad. Nathan Fillion, great Canadian. I'm all about that. So that was news. I think the secret thing was Juan Diego Botto was General Luna, just kind of dropped casually there. It's like we had no news of him, and all of a sudden he's in the panel. It's like, here's Juan, and you're like, you're interesting. Why are you here? So it goes to the rumors that, it's been said a long time that he's Vandal Savage, and this is what the villain truly is in the movie. There's been no drops of it. So if he is Vandal Savage, then huzzah. Good for them. It's a nice way of throwing it in. So, again, no major surprises. Other than that, James Gunn gushing about his cast, saying that, he's overwhelmingly happy with the movie. This is the greatest cast he's ever worked with. Okay, cool. Like, this is the favorite movie he's ever worked on. So it's a lot of James Gunn, like, I don't know if it was a little dig at Marvel, but it's like, or just, these guys are paying me, so I got to gush about it. He also mentioned that Daniel Studdick, who was a special effects supervisor for a bunch of Marvel movies, he also transitioned over to DC and basically said, he's done 14 Marvel movies and said, hey, this movie has more special effects, more CGI than all the 14 Marvel movies that he's worked in previously. So again, he's worked on, a bunch of different things. So that speaks volumes as to what this movie potentially is. Constant shout outs being that it's a war movie and it's a whole different style. Again, without the trailer, it's hard to say what it is, but at least we got a release date. So that's August the 6th, 2021. Long time away. So, John, what are your thoughts after kind of seeing this whole thing?
First thoughts were, the James Gunn kind of audio over was, I feel like it was a bit over the top. It's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever worked on in the entire universe. Like, that was over the top. The Idris Elba sound bites were so generalized. It was, I thought they were pretty hilarious. You're just like, oh, you're going to be so surprised to see this. Like, there were all these just generic, vague things you could say. So I thought those were pretty hilarious. It definitely looks like it's going to be a huge cameo show, like Pete Davidson, all these characters. So I think they're doing a good job of selling so many people in it that
John
potentially John Cena, these characters are going to actually die and be expendable. So the Suicide Squad is going to actually feature characters that are going to get wiped out, and then they talk about it being a war movie or something like that. I don't know. It sounds interesting to me. I like James Gunn's work. I know Andre's not a fan of his Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, but I'll be interested in seeing it. The Harley Quinn was interesting because I don't know if that's a comic book costume. I don't know if Andre or Rob remembers if that's an actual comic costume or if it's the costume from Injustice. So I thought that was kind of I thought that was kind of weird if that's actually an Injustice costume, but it's a nice looking costume. So
to be fair, Harley Quinn came from the cartoon show, so you can pull her out from anything you want. So she's from the animated series, so it's.
I just thought it was an interesting choice. I was like, oh, that looks familiar. I'm like, I think that's from Injustice.
Yeah, to your point, John. Before I jump to Andre, it's interesting because to your point, they can't say anything about the movie. Even the people on the stream couldn't really talk about their characters outside of the feature at John Cena said, my character Peacemaker is a Captain America. I'm like, that's pretty much all they could. All you could say was that,
like an a-hole version of Captain America.
It's
like, all right,
weird.
I got it. He looked good. I'm looking forward to John Cena stepping up.
And even the panel itself, like one of the other things I want to mention before getting to Andre too, was that they couldn't do anything. So they basically split up their teams into trivia. So I was like, well, this is a weird panel. It's like, we're gonna do a draft. So I'm like, this is something, a draft. And then we're going to do Suicide Squad trivia. Team Viola Davis versus team, like
Joel Kinnaman.
Spoiler alert, Viola Davis' team won. So that was pretty much it. But it was a weird thing. I was like, yikes. You can't talk about it clearly, but you just got to kill time.
I'm worried it's going to be two just cameo-ish, and then just this guy shows up one day, kills him. I'm worried that it's not going to fit.
Well, to the point is what the rumors of the internet is that one Suicide Squad is sent in, they get wiped out, and the next Suicide Squad comes in to see what happened in the first team basically being wiped out.
Okay,
so
yeah. As long as it's not every 5 minutes one of his buddies shows up and gets killed, right? Like it's
Joel Kinnaman's team goes in, he's sorting it out, his whole team gets wiped out. Then, Idris Elba is basically brought in to say, hey, if you want to see your daughter, you got to fix this. Bring a team in with Harley Quinn. See what the hell happened to the last team. This is kind of like an episode of Stargate Atlantis or Stargate SG-1, where SG-13 goes in, they get obliterated, and SG-1, the good team, has to come in and see what happened. So this seems to be very much the same format. B team, A team, and the Suicide Squad, or Task Force X. But yeah, Andre, I'm interested to see your thoughts, because you have some strong hot takes.
Yeah, I think that the movie could have too much fan service cameos. I don't believe there's enough story element. Suicide Squad 1 had no story. I'm not a fan of James Gunn's work. Like that Guardians movie, first one, again, no story. There's no content. There's no meat. And then you throw all these jobber characters together. I don't know how far you can take that. Like, it might be cute for the first one, and I think definitely he was so over the top. Like, I'm tired of all these people saying, like, over praising what they're working on, only for 2 years later to be like, yeah, no, I never really liked that.
Yeah, it was trash.
Yeah, I get it. You're a job. You could just say, yeah, I'm enjoying myself. I'm working with some great talented people. But he made it sound like this was.
It seemed over. Yeah, way over the top.
The rodeo, Idris Elba, his comments like, this seems like a graphic novel come to life. Really, Idris? Really?
it was hilarious. I thought it was pretty funny.
What the hell, right? So, I've got no hopes, expectations for this. I think this could be a really expensive flop. It might be one of those things that opening weekend people go see, but then if there's nothing to it, if there's no substance to it, and I remember when James Gunn got brought on, people were like, oh, they're going to really make this movie different. Oh, this is going to be, and it just looks, from what we've seen, just like I said, high octane, just eye candy. And maybe like, I don't know, like I still think you have to have substance. I think you have to make a movie have characters that you can maybe, if not relate to a little bit, maybe have some connection or care about them. These guys have, it's none of that. So I'm really curious to see, no matter how good this movie looks or what the budget is, if it can connect to an audience that legit knows nothing, cares nothing, and that these characters are silly as hell. Like, if people thought that the Guardians characters were silly, no, not compared to these ones. So I can see partially why, and I understand why people like Guardians, 1 and 2, right? I didn't, just that's fine, whatever, right? That's not but this, man, good luck, especially after that first.
Especially they didn't show off any story elements. They weren't showing off any story elements, which
Yeah, it's interesting because the Batman thing we'll talk about later, that was only 25% of the movie that was filmed, and they decided to throw a trailer. James Gunn's movie is more than 25. Like, it must be in the can.
I was going to say, is it done?
I'm sure it's probably done, and they just didn't feel the need to put anything on. So I was really questioning, is that what they feel about the movie? Or to your point, Andre, from your Wonder Woman, they're holding back to say, we can't put too much because every single time we do, it's going to reveal too much. So maybe they'll wait till
nothing. They've revealed nothing, right? Like,
that might be a trailer for the Wonder Woman movie. Now they're going to throw a Suicide Squad trailer in and just wait.
Yeah,
so,
we will get a trailer eventually. I'm just saying for this particular what event so far. So right now, low expectations for me.
Yeah. Rob?
Yeah, it's interesting in that I agree with Andre. This behind the scenes footage, was it enough to whet your appetite or build up excitement? And I don't know. This is the one trailer that I've seen out of all the ones that
Featurette.
yesterday.
Caveat.
Sorry?
Featurette. It's not a
Featurette. So, well, okay, but this is the one video,
yes.
right, Stu, that I've
Yes.
seen, and that was released yesterday, that I've seen the least. I didn't really care for the panel itself. I think I'm agreeing with everybody else on the today in that James Gunn was, really hyped up. Maybe he's excited. I do like the idea of a 1970s war genre pick. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a Vietnam movie. You would see
Dirty Dozen.
Yeah, I'm happy. Like I trust what James Gunn is going to do. I think it's going to be a lot of bloodshed. It's going to be a complete genre pick. It's going to be something completely different. Excuse me, than David Ayer's Suicide Squad, which I'm happy to accept. I'm looking forward to it in so much as
no Ayer cut.
No, and just in so much as I just want to see it. I want to see what it's going to be, and I think it's going to be fun. But this reveal didn't do a lot for me. It just, and you know what? I think maybe even Stu might have said it. There's a lot of characters there that people don't know, and yesterday's reveal did nothing to bring more eyeballs to those characters. So I don't know. I think for me, this would be like a miss. This wasn't a hit for Suicide Squad. This is a miss. I do though like the posters that they've released. So I think that will probably inform what this movie will be like.
So we'll put a pin in that one. I think it's something that needs to be discussed later.
Do you think maybe they filmed it a long time ago? Like maybe they filmed this when James Gunn first went over. That's why he's so excited, because
they've
Marvel
said that it's already done.
Him.
He's in pre-production, or post-production.
No, but this featurette, maybe it was filmed earlier to be.
Well, this is all behind the scenes. This is not
the
exactly. This is all for the
so maybe
Blu-ray,
it was filmed when he was first
right?
let go, so he's like super excited because
no.
I'm talking about the actual live, the quote unquote live panel. The panel that he did. Okay. He was super excited.
Yeah, no, this is now. This is not. This is not. John, they wouldn't have pre-recorded this a year ago. This is something that the DC thing was now. So
no, the behind the scenes featurette was recorded. He has said that this is the biggest movie he's worked on, probably in terms of budget and scope and scale. So listen, it's going to be kooky. You got Polka Dot Man. I mean,
I'm down. Polka Dot Man.
So
but
let's
Weasels were the one I saw. I'm like, boy, all right.
Yeah.
Weasel looked really weird to me, but
and we're gonna get a King Shark. The interesting thing will be, how will King Shark look on screen compared to how they've done it on the CW Flash show? Because admittedly, for a TV show, that King Shark looked pretty good. So
that King Shark is based on the Harley Quinn TV show, where he's kind of
he looked like he was from the
Sharkman.
New,
rather than if you watch the DC ones where he looks menacing, where he looks like a badass with like kind of like spikes and sheet like on him. So this guy just looks kind of like, I'm a dude that's a shark. Like, this is who I am. Like, that's who I feel like James Gunn's gonna really hone in on. And to the point where even the James Gunn, the one from Harley Quinn, he's voiced by who is, oh gosh, I'll have to pull up.
I haven't seen the show. I don't know.
The Harley Quinn TV show, he's kind of like a laid back dude. So I think it's going to be similar to that, because Steve Agee is, I think, going to be that as well. So I just feel like he's going to be a different King Shark than what we've seen in the DC show, because DC show he's kind of like a super badass, and this is Suicide Squad. No one's supposed to be badass. They're all supposed to be kind of losers. So we'll see what happens. I'll fact check that later on, and when I'll bring the names together. So
it's Ron Funches.
Ron Funches, yes. Thank you. Ron Funches is great. All right, so the Flash panel. Let me just give you guys some high-level highlights from the panel.
Make it sound like you have insight that we don't.
It was 10 minutes in length.
Flash fact.
They mentioned a lot. It's going to be a time travel story. It's a cinematic multiverse that's going to be born out of this movie. So born of Barry Allen's story. They gushed about Ezra Miller being the perfect fit. Ezra Miller made some weird comments about how he wants Nicolas Cage to be in the movie as Nicolas Cage. Weird. The director said that he wants the costume to be more organic, and they put a concept art of it. So seeing the light embalmed in the costume, it was
Green
built
Lantern.
by,
Green Lantern.
It was built by his friend Bruce Wayne. So,
but which Bruce Wayne? Come on.
No, they didn't say.
Oh, come on! It's right. It's in the art they showed. That's Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne.
We don't know until it's officially announced.
Oh my God! He has officially announced it in that Vanity Fair article that came out on Friday before this. He announced it's Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck are both in it.
So we know Ben Affleck's in it. So maybe Ben Affleck.
Oh my God, this guy's killing me. All right.
So we're gonna wait and see. Maybe he'll be playing the Penguin. So let's slow down. Michael Keaton could be something else. They mentioned that Ezra Miller, when he met the other Barry Allen from the DC show, that's where he received the name The Flash. So in context of it, when they met together, that Barry Allen from the CW show gave him the name The Flash, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that's what we called ourselves." So there's that. And this film is immensely important, quote and unquote, because if you look around the DC universe, obviously see all these characters that exist within their own bubbles. We now have multiple iterations of the same story. This movie, by opening the door of Flashpoint, as it did in the comics, all these stories and characters can collide. It will blow our minds. The level of possibility that exists within this concept of the character, this story. So that is The Flash. It is clean mulligan. It's going to wipe the floor and fix all the problems in one foul swoop. So, John, thoughts?
Nothing really, other than pick up a copy of Flashpoint if you want to hear what's going on. We've got the collected edition and the super edition with every single crossover with it, but you can see how it's stitched together, the new DC universe following it.
Yeah. Andre?
I just can't get over how much of a train wreck this is. Oh, we're not gonna do connected movies. Oh, but now here's Flash, and we're gonna put in Ben Affleck, and we're gonna put in Burton, and we're gonna put in this other dude. First of all, not knocking Ezra Miller at all, but he's the most unflash Flash we have ever. I don't know A, what his casting call was, or B, what they were looking for when you take a character like Wally West or Barry Allen, you'd be like, this is the guy we want. Don't get it at all. I think I just don't see, either give us a connected world DC, or just give us the standalone movies. You can't have your toe in both. And also they're still relying on Batman. They're, we're gonna put this Flash movie. Oh, Ben Affleck is going to be a big part of this movie. First of all, Stu, you and John will remember this, when the announcement was made that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman and stuff, and I remember we were doing podcasts and I called it. I'm like, we're never going to get that standalone Batman movie from him. I'm like, this guy's a punk. He's not going to do it. And I remember, and look,
punk.
Yeah.
He basically, I don't want to say he messed up everything, but he fucked up that other movie. So much so that how many reshoots, rewrites, new directors, producers, all of this stuff. And now we are getting a totally different thing as the Batman. Oh, but I want to be the Batman in this movie. Dude, you're Batman or you're not, and I'm just honestly, I just really think that on that level, I think he's really done a disservice to what could have potentially been a new start for DC. And then he keeps coming back or whatever. So not a fan of Affleck. The Affleck duck from those insurance commercials got more charisma than he does as Batman. Affleck, yeah, that I'll take instead of him. So unfortunately, as good as Flashpoint was as a comic, I think this is just gonna mess it up. And I know we were really excited for the potential of having Keaton back, but if do I want Keaton in this Flashpoint Batman nonsense, or do I want Keaton in a Batman Beyond movie potentially down the road?
Yeah.
I'd rather take him in Batman Beyond. Please don't have this movie F that up.
And just Jeffrey Dean Morgan was just sitting there like, I can be Batman, and they're like, yeah, no, we're good. Papa Winchester got screwed. So let's say that. Rob, your thoughts?
Flash fact: Andre's not a fan. And for that, people wondering, that was what Ezra Miller's big shtick was during this panel. He kept jumping in saying flashback. I think it's a couple of things off the top of my head. One is that preceding the Flash panel was the Multiverse panel, where Jim Lee, Walter Hamada, and Greg Berlanti all were speaking about the multiverse. I think that it's important if people are listening to this and you want to go check out the Flash panel on YouTube, I think you need to first watch the Multiverse one, because I think it explained a lot that then led into the Flash panel. I have made no bones about it. I am not a fan of Ezra Miller. I do not like his interpretation. I thought he came across as to use Andre's tweet, as a punk during this. I was irritated by him. I think the director was irritated by him based on the look. I mean, I know they pre-recorded this stuff, but he looked irritated. The concept art, I'm happy, because I've always said I don't like that Flash costume that Snyder built. I'm happy they're getting a new costume, but when you're telling me it's supposed to be organic and you see the light, that's the exact same shit that we heard from Ryan Reynolds with Green Lantern. So this does not imbue much confidence in me. I did like the concept art, though, and the fact that at least it looks streamlined as opposed to like pieces built on. I believe that it's Keaton's Batman. I mean, anybody who's listening to this, go check it out. You zoom up. That's the original Batman Keaton symbol. Stop, Stu. I like the idea of the multiverse, in so much as that, I think you have to watch that Multiverse panel first to be really fully informed, but they're just saying, listen, we've had all these different Batmen. We've had all these different, these things can coexist together or separately, but it's all part of an overall multiverse. I think that is really the best way to go about doing the future of movies, is that you can have multiple, characters and iterations of characters, whether they cross over or they don't, or whatever the case may be. I think this is the way to do it. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see Affleck come back and have Keaton. I think it's going to be fan service for sure. Like, as a fanboy, I'm excited to see what this is. But to reiterate what Andre says, please don't mess this up. And I was hoping, because right after this panel was Batman Beyond, I was really hoping they would announce that Keaton would come out and then flip right into Batman Beyond, and that he would be part of that. And it wasn't. I don't even know what that.
It was called Beyond Batman, right?
Yeah. I think
it was Beyond semicolon Batman.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited. I'm excited as a Flash fan. I'm excited. I'm just not excited for Ezra Miller. I really wish he just.
To Rob, to your point, that was a big bait and switch, because the Beyond Batman stuff was, I think, voice actors of Batman from around the world, where it was like, here's the Mexican Batman that does it. Here's the Italian one.
No. It was It was right after you had Kevin Conroy, and he was. Remember, they took that. Yeah. So I didn't.
It wasn't what you thought it would be. Yeah.
I want to touch on what you said about the multiverse and stuff. I think the problem with that idea of the multiverse is that a multiverse is a very comic book and sci-fi type of thing. And we know they're going for the general audience. So you can't just slap out 4 different movies a year with Batman in it, and they'll all be different Batmans and Jokers, and expect the general audience to understand or follow it. If you want them to be truly separate, new cast, no cameos from anything else, and you just say, oh, this is Batman Gotham by Gaslight, takes place in 1820. Oh, this is Batman Beyond. So the people know that they're not connected. But you can't take Batmans from other iterations and put them in and expect it to do well. It's either connected or it's not. Even to say it, yeah, for sure, all comic fans understand the concept of a multiverse. But your average moviegoer who maybe read a comic 25 years ago, or some new kid who's just going to see movies, don't read it. Again, just calling it a multiverse connects it. And if it connects then you have to make sure it makes sense and that the connections are there. And if you don't do that, then there's no point calling it a multiverse.
So I think, Andre, to your point, and let me just bring it. I was going to talk about that panel after this one, Rob. So thank you for the segue. But the one thing that Walter Hamada and Jim Lee mentioned specifically to this whole thing, because Flashpoint is basically the pull in case of emergency button. We can reset everything in the DCEU when things go wrong. And unfortunately for them, it went wrong real fast. So they got to pull the chute now and reset everything back to it. I think the way that it's set up right now is that, unfortunately, to your point, Andre, the multiverse is a very particular idea, and Marvel's pretty much setting that up right now with their madness of multiverse with Doctor Strange. And unfortunately for DC, I think Marvel's probably going to, stick the landing, and DC probably won't. We'll see what happens. I think.
You want to know why? Because this solves the recasting issue.
Well, so let me just also the other quick dig was that Walter Hamada also did a dig because to Marvel and to Star Wars going, hey, we're going to do Elseworld movies, but it's not going to be every year. It's a special event. Maybe we'll do an event movie every 4 years. That'll be different than everything else. So it's like, so basically leaving the door open for Red Sun or all the special things that we would want to see in a separate universe. But they are, to your point, Andre, they are, I feel, setting back up to do their DC EU again. It's like, okay, well, it failed, but we're going to set up again to a shared universe. And this is how we're going to do it. Even the CWs have said that shared universe where all of them are gone is not the case. It's only for the CW TV shows. So now the CW shows have all combined, but that doesn't mean the multiverse doesn't exist anymore. It's only the TV shows are now all shared. So they did it in a way that combined all the CW shows, including Black Lightning, and now everything else is back to normal with the multiverse, just like everything else. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I think they're just trying to, do what Marvel does, good or bad. That's what's going to happen. So, okay, we'll jump over to the next topic quickly. After that, the Zack Snyder Justice League panel was Zack Snyder getting surprise questions from people from his cast. So, hi,
Gal Gadot didn't ask a question. He's like, oh, Gal, what's your question? Yeah. She was just like, you're the best. Thank you.
I didn't realize what was going to happen when you cast me as Wonder Woman. Really? Like, oh, wow, your life is different. No, pretty much everyone cast in these superhero movies' lives are different. So the biggest takeaway out of this, and Henry Cavill showed up. So that was a surprise. So no Aquaman, but Superman himself showed up, I guess, maybe in Bulgaria where they're filming The Witcher. So he's there. But the big news is that it's a 4-hour film, which is broken into 4 1-hour segments. So then we were given a treat, which was a 2-minute and 20-second Leonard Cohen Hallelujah teaser trailer, which dropped a lot of stuff, including a Justice League building that was destroyed with
Hall of Justice.
Hall of Justice with the Dark Side, a new look, Steppenwolf kind of looks kind of more badass. There was a lot more Cyborg, includes Cyborg controlling nuclear missiles and a direction. So a lot more stuff, and also a Wally West, Iris West situation. So here we go.
Barry Allen, you mean?
Barry Allen and Iris West. So here we go. Andre, what are your thoughts after watching the clearly Snyder Super Snyder cut?
It looked really good from what I saw. The length concerns me. 4 hours. If you don't edit this thing right, it could be a disaster. But the CG looked great. That 2-minute trailer was really well done. Except huge, the Leonard Cohen music. Whoever chose that should be shot on the spot. Doesn't do anything. There's no pacing. It doesn't fit like at all. Like zero. Like it's just I had to turn the music off to listen to it. Like so there's sometimes like the music makes the trailer, but there's sometimes where the music destroys it, and the music destroyed it here. So I had to listen to it. I had to turn the volume down. Again, I'll go back to that Wonder Woman 84 trailer with the remix of Blue Monday. Man, like that just gets you to want to watch it again. You're like, holy crap. And the music has the tones. When she's blocking the bullets, it's like, if you know the song, it's like that drum, and she blocks it. And I'm like, yes, that's it. I don't know what the hell this was. Like, just if it was just going to be a montage of scenes, just do that. But again, music, sound, so important to visuals. And again, the music took away from the visuals. But after turning it down, visuals are looking great for this. Again, just my only concern is 4 hours. Like, you sign on to do a movie, and a movie's going to be a certain amount of length. You can't say, "I'm going to do a Snyder cut." Turn it
To
into
be fair, this was supposed to be 2 movies, Andre, in the beginning. So they were
Oh,
supposed
it
to be Justice
was?
League 1 and
Yeah.
2. Yes. Essentially,
Okay,
it was supposed to
cool.
be Justice League 1 and Justice League 2.
Yeah.
So he was signed on to do Justice League 1 and 2, and then they
Yes,
said, "No, you're
that's
only
correct.
getting one movie." Okay.
Yep,
Well,
that was the situation, and then
so then
unfortunately,
he probably needs 5 hours because each movie should have been 2.5 hours.
yeah. So Zack Snyder.
So we're getting away
Yep.
light. All right.
Yep, we're getting light. So that's it. So, unfortunately, it was Zack Snyder's passing of his daughter. So that was the reason why. But it was supposed to be Justice League Part 1 and 2. So that is that. And also to the point, as though you hated Thor Ragnarok, that trailer that came out with that song,
Immigrant Song.
Immigrant Song was
Led Zeppelin.
nothing but Zeppelin, nothing crushed as much as that one. Although you hated the movie, the trailer
Nothing but net.
nothing but net. John, thoughts?
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that song. I'm not saying it's a bad song or anything, but that version of that song, or even that song in general, I'm not a huge fan of. So I wish they did choose different music, but maybe some people dug it. I like those cyborg images because I think, or cyborg scenes, because I think Cyborg was one of the most heavily reshot. That's why Fisher has such an issue with Whedon, right? I think Rob will probably touch on it when he talks about it because he knows all this stuff. Yeah, it looked good to see more expansion into his story and seeing him get a little bit more meat to what he was doing. I like there was one shot where Lois, I think, sees Superman at the top of a building or something like that. That looked really cool to me. And pardon me if I'm mentioning footage that is actually old or whatever, because I don't remember Justice League at all, apparently, because I was like, all this stuff looks new. My probably favorite shot of the trailer was when Aquaman just kind of like pieces out and then like just falls back into the water, distancing himself from Amber Heard. So I don't know if that's like a subliminal thing as well, but I thought that was a really cool shot. And then we got a few glimpses of black costume Superman, it looks like.
Black costume Superman,
yeah. So I'm excited to see that. I thought that costume looked pretty cool when they were kind of showing it off a little bit, and then it just disappeared from all existence after that. But yeah, overall, like the CG, the dark side looked kind of weird. So I don't know if there's lighting issues or whatever, or maybe it's not complete. And then there's one scene where this car gets like blasted and flips over. It looks extremely fake, but I don't know if we're judging this as a big budget movie anymore or as a TV show now. So I'm sure maybe it's early on, or maybe it's a throwaway scene, whatever. It's as far as Netflix kind of like CGI, that was fine. But if you look really closely at that car, it looks really not good. But other than that, I wish they would change the music. I'm just not a fan of that song.
Rob?
This is the difference between a director who feels really passionate about something versus how James Gunn came across. You could see the honesty and earnesty in Zack Snyder just feeling overwhelmed with that he had the opportunity to be able to do this. He brought in, I know we kind of nutted about the fact that he had his cast ask questions, but then he brought in 2 people who helped start this movement, one girl from China, and talked about it. And these were people, at least the guy, I can't remember his name. I mean, he flew out with his kids to see a director's cut about a year and a half ago. He helped release the Snyder Cut movement. And this individual has also helped raise money for suicide awareness and prevention and stuff like that. And you could just see the emotion in Snyder's face when he was talking about the ability that he has to bring this movie together to his vision. He said he filmed this in 2016. We're at almost, by the time it gets released, it'll be 5 years of him with this movie. And it felt really good watching him be just really honest and open about the whole entire thing, as opposed to, like how we said earlier, with James Gunn just seemed way out of whack. In terms of what we saw, I agree. I thought Darkseid looked something a little bit weird, but it's still a work in progress. This is not like it's coming out in November, right? Mm-hmm. So it's sometime in 2021. I agree with the song choice. It was a little bit weird. Maybe it's some fan service, though, a little tip of the hat saying, hallelujah, it's coming out.
Yep.
There's a lot.
Maybe use a different version of the song.
Maybe there was a lot in that trailer that we saw in the original Snyder trailer, like Bruce looking at the 3D rendering of Superman, we all kind of thought, oh, is that Supergirl? Because you see like more of the skinny leg and calves. But a lot of those shots we didn't get in the Justice League movie. There's a lot of promise that we never got because of Joss Whedon. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm happy to hear that Cyborg, is the
Ray Fisher,
heart. Ray Fisher is the heart of this movie, right? His humanity is what brings everything together. And I think so. Then to talk about what allude to what John was mentioning is that Ray Fisher has not been very quiet about what he viewed and perceived as bullying, harassment, and just overall shit dealing with John Berg, the producer, Jeff Johns, and Joss Whedon. And so much as that, when you're watching this, just last week on August the 18th or so is when they announced that they're, WB are doing an investigation into the allegations. It's not just one individual. It seems like there's a few more. So, Ray Fisher's probably really happy that his Cyborg is going to come out, and that what we were promised in those trailers is what we're going to see. I'm really excited for this. I'm happy that it's 4 hours, and again, and I'm really happy that they are going to put it together so you can watch it as one if you want. It reminds me of Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. I want those two movies together. And for those who are watching outside of North America and Canada, there's the hope it will probably be on Crave. Outside North America, though, Snyder said, listen, we are working with distribution partners to get this out to you. So maybe those in Scotland and England and everywhere else, you'll be able to get it on Netflix out there or whatever. So it's coming.
Or pay your fee and pay a small fee to get it. So
I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Okay. Yeah, there'll be a small denomination that you have to pay from iTunes or whatnot. So it is what it is. To jump over, Jim Lee spoke with Bing Chen and one of the panels about diversity, and they were speaking with John Ridley, who wrote 12 Years a Slave. So he teased that there will be a 47% chance that a person of color would be the new Batman. So it led to some conversations about potentially, a black Batman. And this would be Lucius Fox's relationship with Luke Fox. And Luke Fox would be the potential Batman. So John Ridley would take the experiences that he would have with his sons and put this into not an ongoing series, but like a short, some sort of special or a short series that would represent the first time that Batman has been someone of color and potentially be Luke Fox. So, the Batwing himself taking the mantle of Batman. So that's something unique. Andre, what are your thoughts?
There's been many Elseworlds comics. Grant Morrison had a whole a world where Superman was black, and he was also the president of the United States at the time. So, I don't have any problem with the concept. Again, we don't know. It says 47%. That means there's a 53% that he won't be.
Yeah.
Right. So, I again, story's paramount. I think the Foxes were good. I think Batwing was a really good and underrated comic book.
Yeah.
So there's potential. I think anybody could embody what Batman represents, and stuff. I just hope it's not going to be like, I don't know. I just hope it's not going to be like this whole super political thing.
Yeah.
Do it because there's a reason to do it, and tell a good story. I think there's a lot of, sometimes in comics there's time to they might gender or race swap characters, and sometimes if it's in a larger context it may fail, or not fail, that's the wrong word. They may not think all the steps through and all the ramifications. For example, I'm not skipping the beat, but Jeffrey Rush is Commissioner Gordon, right? This makes me think back to our man Lando Calrissian as a cameo of Harvey Dent,
yeah,
right? And then 2 movies later, you're like, no, we got Harvey Dent was what's his name? Tommy Lee Jones, right? So again, you got to kind of think it through in that upcoming movie where Jeffrey Rush is Gordon. What does that say for potential Batgirl if we ever get sequels to this movie? Sure, you could change that, But you have to think of those things. Not, again, race isn't everything, but don't just cast it just because. You know, I think you have to put some thought into it and stuff. And like I said, whatever this Batman comic could be, again, what if it is Batman, but he goes by Batwing or whatever. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they're just not putting it out because like, oh, we need a black superhero, we need Batman to be black right now. That's you know, again, I think that would be a disservice and stuff. And have a good story.
Okay. Rob and John, do you have any thoughts? If not, we'll jump to Black Adam.
No, other than do it, why not? Do it. Miles did great, and he opened up like a whole nother audience and allowed new kind of people to identify more with a character. So I'm like, yeah, definitely explore the idea. But yeah, but like Andre said, be genuine about it. You know, don't just be like, oh, we need our version of Miles Morales. You know, like don't just do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if you're going to swing for the fences. But is this like an ongoing, or is it like a 12 issue?
12 issue probably,
12
or 8 issue.
limited? Yeah,
limited,
then you know what the hell? Go for it. Like, you know, if it, I don't know, and I didn't get to see the whole panel, but does Bruce Wayne exist in that world, or is it strictly?
I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's fine. Go for it. I think it's, you know, make it, as long as it's good. I don't care. As long as it's good, right? Just
All right.
Explore, like
so
Superman,
let's jump
Red Son,
over
right?
to Red Son's everyone uses that example. It's a one-off, but yeah, I agree. It's a unique thing. Black Adam. Here we go. The Rock comes in with his typical WWE promo swagger. He came in and just wrecked the place. Went in and a couple quotes here to share with you guys before the thing and the news. He basically read, if you said this, I could interplace Black Adam with Namor the Submariner, but this is one of the things I've always loved and admired about the anti-hero. I love that it's kind of, the lines are blurred. He has his own sense of justice. So that's a lot of him. He mentioned that, again, Dwayne teased the possibility of meeting up with Superman at some point and potentially saying that they could be friends and pointed out, or they won't be. We'll see. He wrapped up at the very end by calling out Shazam, The Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, said the hierarchy and power of the DC universe is about to change. So classic wrestling promo. He had a conversation in introducing the JSA. So the JSA 4 members he introduced was Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher. And the only person who's officially being cast as the Atom Smasher is Noel Centero, again, from a bunch of Netflix stuff. And he is currently getting jacked for He-Man / Atom Smasher, so he's getting bigger right now. Atom Smasher, of course, is a person that can get bigger and grow. Smash atoms. So there we go. So that was that. The Boss Logic stuff was done with the conjunction of Jim Lee beginning. So you got a little bit of a teaser where The Rock kind of read out the description of who the Black Adam is. So John, your thoughts on Black Adam?
I thought it looked really great. And the only thing I really have to say is I only saw the trailer, so I didn't see the panel part. So I only saw that trailer they put together. So definite shout outs to Boss Logic, who's been like doing so many things, had his things all over the internet. And we've actually just ordered some. He's doing some DC variant covers as well. So we have ordered some of those Boss Logic covers. So if you want to support him, definitely contact your local spot and get his cover for whatever book you're collecting. So yeah, I thought it was cool.
Andre?
Can't go wrong with The Rock.
Yeah, like this is what I was talking about, man. This is you get a guy who's excited about a part and he's going to go out and he's going to promo it. This to me was probably the best panel I saw. The Rock's an entertainer. He's genuinely excited. If he gets a good script and he gets a good director and he can play Black Adam, not like I want to see Dwayne act like he did. Like I don't want to recognize him. I don't want just his typical Rock. I want to see, what was that movie where he played
I like Faster. I think Faster he played like kind of like a
but
PTSD
Too
type
Cool
guy.
he was. So was it Too Cool? The one where he was
with John.
Be Cool.
Be
John
Cool.
Travolta.
Be Cool.
Be Cool. Yeah. I want that type of acting, like not humorous, but I want him to get out because because the presence of The Rock, like if he plays Black Adam, like I can see it, you know, and I want that Black Adam dark movie. This do not mess with me, but you steal, you rob, you cheat. Justice is you know, black and white with Black Adam, you know. And once he dropped that thing, I'm like, holy crap, I would love to see Henry Cavill versus The Rock, Superman versus Black Adam. Like that's a battle. Like if they build him up correctly, and sure, have him be quasi good with the JSA, but what if we get another Justice League movie where it's all of the Justice League versus the Black Adam? Because that's a fight. You know what I mean? Like that's a fight. He can take down the Justice League, you know? So I think with The Rock, you have that type of presence. I think you have a person who can elevate and bring a whole huge audience to the comic book market as well as to that movie market. So yeah, this was one of my favorite panels for the potential. I was shocked that they were going to put that many people from the JSA in it. Again, because I feel it's a lot of characters to shoehorn into a 2.5-hour movie. But hey, maybe they've got plans, right? So I can hope they got plans. But Black Adam's story is so solid enough that I would take 2 hours with just him.
To be fair, I think Andre, The Rock schedules a lot of movies where he's only in 25% of the movie because he's doing other things, and the rest of the time other people fill in the gaps. So I feel like this is a movie where he felt that the need to have an ensemble cast, so he doesn't have to be in every scene, because The Rock usually films 12 movies at the same time. So I feel like the weight would not be on him. A million projects at once. So this is kind of a way to allow him to, you know, do a scene of Ballers while meanwhile he's still doing another movie at the same time. So you know, The Rock. He has to also go to the gym at the same time, so it's hard.
That's how he recorded Jumanji and Rampage at the exact same time, just on opposite days. He did. That's were all filmed in Hawaii. So
Rob?
Yeah. So you know what, Andre makes a really good point. In so much as that, you know, when you get to a certain level of stardom, it's very hard to see individuals as the characters they're playing. Tom Cruise is a perfect example, right? You're watching a Tom Cruise movie. It's sometimes really hard to say, oh, that's his character or whatever. It's just Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise stuff. And I feel like The Rock has kind of fallen into that bit of a category. You know, it's The Rock. I'm paying my $15 for a movie or $12 for a movie. I know I'm going to get The Rock doing The Rock stuff. I hope that in Black Adam, he's different. You're taking a character, we all know who he is and his ties to Shazam and this and that. Go and ask like my wife has no clue. Ask my neighbors. They have no idea who Black Adam is, or at least they didn't until maybe now, if they, you know, people are going to tell them. So I hope that the marketing on this, you know, it brings more eyeballs in just instead of fans. I like the Boss Logic stuff. I was a little bit wonky in the fact, though, that he doesn't, in a lot of those promo images, he's not wearing a cape. I think that that's kind of important. I don't also understand the timeline. So we obviously saw him in the previous stuff in his Scorpion King days. And then he's lying in wait or whatever for 10,000 years, and then he's resurrected and he fights the JSA. I'm very happy to see Dr. Fate going to be on screen. I can't wait for that. But then he also, The Rock mentioned very pointedly, and in no uncertain terms, that he will be fighting Superman. So it gave a pretty, like, so is what happens then? Is he fighting JSA in the 50s and then bouncing up to present day to be fighting Kal-El? I have no idea how that's going to work, but I want to see that.
You have no idea when the JSA is going to be. Maybe the JSA is...
It could be modern day, I guess. I don't know, but so I have no...
And this is the point that Andre brings up all the time, and he'll bring it up in Batman too, a private conversation, saying that, you know, this is sometimes a problem with adding too much into a short movie. So now if you have the JSA, it's a time period, then you throw Superman. Like, you just want the Superman Shazam movie or Black Adam just be its own movie. I don't need also the pitter-pattering of the JSA. Like, this is too much going on at once for a short movie.
Yeah, so but listen, they're not going to do a Black Adam versus Superman, because then nobody's going to want to really see a Black Adam versus Shazam, because we all know Shazam, as played by Zachary Levi, doesn't really hold a lot to Cavill Superman, right? So I'm excited to see this. This has been a long gestating project. He said 10 years. It's probably about right. Since we first heard about this. Let's get filming. And I think it was actually supposed to start filming this fall, but since we're all in strange. We're in the darkest universe, right?
Yeah.
The darkest timeline. So I think it's now been pushed into the early spring, like January, February. So at the earliest. So let's see where it goes. I want to see it. I want to see Black Adam, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So quick shout out. Clearly on the Shazam panel, nothing really happened besides the title, which is Fury of the Gods.
It was a funny panel,
So
though. Actually, we watched it. It was kind of funny.
It was fine. And
Sinbad
then
showed up.
Yeah.
Again, a secret cameo of Sinbad, and follows the same route of like they need someone to come in because they can't talk about anything about the panel, so they just needed filler. So that's what it was, another filler. And they said secret cameos and the new villains will show up. So no surprise there. Of course, that's what comic book movies are. It's secret cameos and villains. So thanks for telling the obvious. So I'm not even bother asking you guys questions about that because it's over.
Actually, hang on a second. But the one thing I actually noticed about, they did replay some of the footage, or they had it was a funny panel, but it really highlighted when they showed the footage of the original of the Shazam movie. I didn't realize like how bad Zach Levi's fake black hair was. It really bothered me watching yesterday's panel, and I was like, man, I really hope they fix that.
And on the private chat that we're joking back and forth, I'm like, Zach Levi needs to go back to the gym. Like he looks like me now. He just shriveled away. I'm like, bro, like
he's clean shaven.
Like
he actually, he looks like a great Reed Richards. He had the gray along.
I was like, I'm like, oh, you don't look as big as you looked in Shazam, and how are you gonna stand next to The Rock? I'm like.
Well, that's a problem, right?
That's a huge. That was always a problem since day one. Not even that. The problem with
that costume.
The problem was always, who the hell can you get to stand next to The Rock? So regardless of whether it was Zach Levi, it was a problem.
Listen, if you are,
it's going to be Cavell and Godot and everybody.
But you don't have to
now.
be. You don't have. This is the problem, though, is that you don't have to have Rock muscles to square off against The Rock. If you have Levi, who is Thor Ragnarok type size, he will. As long as you are imposing enough. It doesn't matter. Size isn't. You just need to look.
You can be fat too, like Vin Diesel. So it's all good. It's been shown that fat Vin Diesel, who clearly was when he was fighting The Rock, he was wearing like the bulletproof vest. I was like,
he was to hold it all in.
Hold it all in. This is the man girdle. So here we go.
It's all about family girdle.
Familia. So that's what it. All right, let's jump into Rocksteady Studios, and this is where Andre and myself totally agree. Super excited for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. They had a nice trailer where it was Harley Quinn. I guess the new version, which is kind of a chill version of King Shark. Boba Fett himself, Deadshot, and Captain Boomerang together in Metropolis. Fighting Brainiac, and then Superman shows up and just obliterates the dude, and they're like,
the cop,
who's the alpha target? And they're like, oh god, it's that guy. So Will Arnett, thanks for coming out. A couple jokes that some landed, some didn't, but I was super excited just to see the fact that it's a 4-player co-op game, which if you don't have co-op, to John's point, it'll be AI instead, so it's seamless in and out, and if not, an AI person will run the character. And the fact that they
walk into the walls for you.
Yeah. They'll be fine. And I think the big news was that really what we've been pining and complaining about a long time now, that Metropolis is going to be its own character. You're going to actually see a lot of Metropolis in the game. So Gotham's been done a million times. I'm super excited to wander around Gotham and do stupid things. So Andre, what are your thoughts of the game trailer?
So you could clearly see from what they showed us that was just a cinematic scene and stuff. So that was kind of disappointing because we've seen good CG and stuff before. You mentioned the importance of Metropolis, and I get that, except for where they were looking. From what I saw, that didn't look like any Metropolis I've seen in the comics. Metropolis is supposed to be the city of the future. It's supposed to look, different. They had that hot dog cart in the background and stuff like that. I wasn't super impressed with their stylistic choice. It looked good graphically, of course.
Metropolis, right? Toronto, Andre. So it looked like Toronto. So I'm down with that.
It's supposed to be and has looked a lot like. Look at what it looked like in the animated Superman, the animated series. I think they should have gone a little bit more that route, because then it would look a little bit more futuristic as well. But I wasn't. Look, in video games, you have to suspend your disbelief, and you have to have this. And I'm like, why not just have a Suicide Squad game where you have a whole roster of characters that can fail or not fail and stuff like that and die, and then you just move on to the next one, and your mission is actually doable. You know, sure, we've now got whatever's going to possess the Justice League or whatever, right? But the weakest member of the Justice League, okay, the weakest member of the Justice League wipes the floor with the Suicide Squad. Okay, so it's not even a contest. Batman with half a utility belt in one hand beats the Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that, from a gameplay perspective, and I'm really surprised because it seems very lazy from Rocksteady, is every character has like their signature move and a gun. This is a gunplay game. Like, I'm like, wow, that's unique. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, that's
King Shark had a gun.
He did have a gun.
Had a freaking machine gun.
Yeah. Gatling gun.
And like Harley Quinn has the bat and the gun. So I'm like, ooh, that, again. We haven't
wait for gameplay. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
We haven't seen it, so maybe it goes. But I'm just saying, so far from a Rocksteady perspective, I get that maybe they want to tie this in with the Suicide Squad movie. So hopefully they get those two things connected. But I would have rather seen, because they talked Metropolis, I would have rather seen the time and effort to give us a Rocksteady Superman game. You know, like that would have been a dream come true.
Maybe this is the stepping stool.
You don't need a stepping stone for that. Do it, you know. So, but anyways, regardless, it's all good.
It wouldn't be a 4-player co-op game, Andre, if it was Superman himself. So that's
what are you talking about? We could have the Man of Tomorrow. We could have the Eradicator.
I don't want.
Boy.
Then what's the point of playing this game, John? If there's 4 Supermen, you can't. There's nothing that can stop 4 Supermen. Like, who are you fighting? 4 Supermen? Like
4 Black Adam.
Doomsday in the game.
That's like great. You can solve every problem. 4 Supermen. That's ridiculous. And if it wasn't, then you'd have 3 guys that wasn't Superman. Andre, I'm not playing with you. I want to be Superman. So you can be the jobber while I'm Superman. So it's like, unless you give me parts of the Justice League, like I get what you're saying, but at the same time, is, you know, there's a niceness that you need all 4 of them to work together, because there's no, like, you're right. Nobody can take Superman by themselves besides Black Adam and Shazam, because they're magic.
You get to be Jimmy Olsen and you run around taking photos.
Like taking photos.
Like Pokemon Snap.
Yeah. Like, anyways, John, go for it.
I didn't see the talk up, so I just watched the trailer. I was actually disappointed at first because I felt like the Gotham Knights, they showed so much more. You got to see gameplay. Yeah. You got to see the cinematic, which I feel that looked nicer. I didn't like the look of the characters. And the Harley Quinn, I know we always go back to the show, but I feel like Kaylee Cuoco really owns the voice of Harley Quinn now. So to hear someone else kind of like doing a Margot Robbie kind of like animated kind of style imitation of her, I didn't like it. And I didn't find out it was 4 players till after. But I think the twist is that you do get to fight a boss, and the bosses are going to be the Justice League. So I think that's going to attract people. Sure, it's going to be a disservice to those characters, because it's like, okay, how is the Suicide Squad going to be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all these characters? But I think fans are gonna like that idea, and it's no different than a big boss coming at you in, you know, Shadow of the Colossus or whatever, you know, those games are. So other than that, I thought it was okay. I definitely liked Gotham Knights more than the look of this so far.
Rob?
Just a point of clarification for John, though. Margot Robbie, like, I get what you're saying, but she then used the animated series Harley to base off her interpretation of it, her voice, right? So yeah, you've got now 4 different people basing it off the person in front of them. Here's the thing. I agree with John. You know, I wanted to see a more gameplay trailer, or gameplay footage, but this is a game that's coming out maybe in 2022. And I say maybe because we're so far away, you don't know. You don't know. This could be a 2023 game. How many of these things are delayed? It's a next gen.
Based on COVID, yeah.
Yep, it's a next gen game. It's PS5. It's the next Xbox. I thought it was kind of funny, to be honest with you. I like, you know, Harley Quinn flipping the bird. I like the end where Captain Boomerang, when he sees that Superman, he, you know, goes to drop the F-bomb and they cut to the trail. I think that was funny. I liked the cinematic, and so all we can base it on is the cinematic, and that it's 4-player. I hope it's cross-gen 4-player. I think that would be amazing. I think because not everybody's gonna. I think it allows your friends if Andre has an Xbox and I have a PS5, I want to be able to play with Andre. I don't want it to be strictly console to console 4-player. Because I think in this day and age, you can do cross-gen, and we've been doing it for lots of games. So if you're basing it strictly on the cinematics, I'll tell you what happened. 343 Studios got the shit beaten out of them yesterday because this game looked far more superior than that Halo, the next-gen Halo trailer that we got. That made the Halo that's now been delayed look like it was from the original Xbox. Like, it just shows that that's the first thing I thought of. Like, I could not believe how great these characters looked in that CGI stuff. I was shocked. So, based on that, looks great, but that's all we have. It's 4-player, and that's it. We have no gameplay.
Based on,
Can I get clarification on Captain Boomerang's powers?
That's
he
true.
teleporting?
He kept yeah, it's like his boomerangs were teleporting him to different places.
He probably
I
has
was
an upgrade, just like
that was the same in the Gotham Knights. Who was doing that?
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that
Robin was
that kept
teleporting,
doing
I
it,
think.
teleporting as well. So
Yeah.
Apparently, this is the new power: is teleportation.
some sort of belt or
The
something.
Nightcrawler effect.
Yeah, and to be
Yeah.
fair, Halo has a look and a feel to it. Like, that's why you play Halo. You're not going to have stuff that's different. Like, Halo, when you play a Halo game, you have a feel to it. So when you shoot a gun in Halo, that's the way it is. So we'll see what happens. Without a gameplay
about
trailer.
the cinematics. I'm talking strictly about the cinematics.
And yeah, to be fair, compared to the Avengers beta fiasco, that game looks like a mess. So if Rocksteady can solve that,
It's okay. It plays okay.
The weird, yeah, because to Andre's point, yeah, you're not the Superman, but the way that the Captain America, or not even Iron Man, and the characters feel in an event like the Avengers beta, I'm like, I don't want the Justice League. I want other people, because the Hulk feels weird. Like, all of them are.
So I shouldn't try this beta.
No.
Well, it's
do
really
not.
weird that you're still in
It's
beta when
free.
it's supposed to be coming out in 3 weeks.
Oh, it's a gong show right now.
It's like 9 levels.
Yeah, it's a mess. I'm super excited, because after watching the gameplay and seeing all the stuff and listening to people talk about the beta, and maybe I'll buy it. No, thank you. This is
You know
okay.
why? Because it's coming out September something. Just wait till Boxing Day.
and
it's
here's
going to
the
be
thing,
$20.
like, the Kirkland brand Avengers. Like, I look at all of them, I'm like, ugh, this is all terrible.
They look very questionable.
Yeah, and also the fact that the Marvel stuff, I'm like, you guys dropped the ball. It's like, oh, you're gonna have a Verizon style looking Avengers if you have a Verizon, a Comcast looking team. So there's so many synergy of, like, if you buy this version here, you're gonna have your Avengers look like that. I'm like, all the skins I have to buy and everything. I'm like, there's just a money grab. It's just unbelievable what they're doing. It's just like, really, Ubisoft? Like, I'm so disheartened. I'm super excited about this Justice League game, because I'm like, well, it looks like they spent time to, maybe the 4 characters were, the ideal 4, but if they synergize correctly, that these 4 work together in a way that teamwork, that it's great. As much as I want Polka Dot Man, like, what the hell is he going to do with the other 3 characters? So, or Ratcatcher 2. So I'm fine with them being the 4 characters, as long as the 4 characters are flushed out and they work together. So it's kind of like in Borderlands, where you get, like, the tank, like, which is going to be King Shark, and, like, these are the 4 characters you use in Borderlands, and I'm fine with that, and you can change it up each game. So that and that's what it is. So, okay. Last but least, as the podcast comes to an end, I'd like to thank everyone for listening to the podcast.
Wait, what?
If you thank you for liking, supporting, clicking.
Get out of here. Let's get to the biggest
I'd like to.
news,
Where
man.
can we find more of you on the internet, Rob? I believe it's Rob.
You can find me at the Matt Reeves mansion,
Facebook.
hanging out,
Andre.
watching.
We can find sales at heroesworld@gmail.com.
Get out of here, man.
The
Okay.
store's located in Union and Markham. So yeah, we're just gonna finish off the podcast. We're good. Oh right, yeah. I guess we have this something called the Batman to talk about. So here we go. The Matt Reeves, Mattson Tomlin movie, crime noir, Batman detective, year 2 story is upon us. It is Batman trying to figure out who he is. He doesn't know everything. He is not a bad god. He's going to make mistakes. Everyone is new. Everyone doesn't know what's going on. Here it is. This is the trailer that was dropped. 25% completion. Being filmed in the UK because he doesn't want this movie to look like any other Batman movie ever before. So we know how Rob feels. John, what are your thoughts on
Wait,
this?
sorry, just before we go, hey, people who are watching on the YouTube screen, video and stream of this, I need you guys to focus on Andre's reaction
when Rob's talking.
Yeah. Yes. So please
let's
begin.
go, John. Your initial thoughts before
Yeah,
Andre
I'll
goes.
keep it short because I'm sure these other two guys are going to go crazy toe to toe. I overall liked it. I like the aesthetic of it. I love the Batmobile. I love the Bat bike. I like that they're more kind of like real world vehicle based, you know, like a muscle car and kind of like a souped up Harley look. I really like those, you know, although I did like all the techie stuff in Dark Knight and the Nolan stuff. I felt like Batman did look a little bit kind of RoboCop-y, but like the way his bottom jaw, and he was just kind of like, but I liked it. I like the vibe. I think the suit looks really good. I like the bat symbol that kind of goes across the whole chest. And I did get kind of, I'm sure Andre's going to touch on it, but the look of Robert Pattinson, I did kind of get like a little bit of like, is this Dick Grayson as Batman? Kind of with the long hair and kind of the look for it. But overall, I did like it. I was pretty impressed. And then you know, I like the shout outs to the eyeshadow. Like every Batman does it, but they never show it. Like even Keaton peels off his mask. It's not there. So I like how they showed it, and I have read some of the interviews with him, and that they were going for a different, like, you know, not the Nolan, not the Keaton, not the whatever. This is a completely different thing. So the whole and the detective aspect. So I'll keep it at that. These guys are gonna go nuts. So.
All right, we don't want this pod to be 4 hours long, but let's see how we'll let Andre really unleash, and then Rob will close this off because this is go ahead.
All right. So the first thing you have to realize is that
You had to mute Rob
I
while
love
Andre talks.
the sigh. I love the sigh. All right.
So Batman has probably been one of the characters that is reimagined, re-envisioned the most out of any superhero and stuff. And you know, I'm 46 years old, and I've been watching and reading comics for such a long time. You know, from the Batman Adam West, Challenge of the Super Friends, Batman the Animated Series, and so many comics in between and stuff. So I am a person that is consumed a lot of Batman. He's probably a character for comic books that I've collected the most and read the most comic books for. So while I have a vision of Batman in my head, I don't think it would be fair to say that I have a single vision of Batman in my head. But what I'm always constantly looking for when I see Batman in the mainstream media is that the person has respect for the source material and is drawing from and pulling aspects of it. I do understand that everybody who's creative wants to inject some of their own stuff into it. So this movie, as I mentioned a little bit before, I think it's gone through production hell with Affleck, who was going to write, star, produce, direct, all of these things. Kept changing. Then we got Robert Pattinson and Pattinson, sorry, and Matt Reeves. And I will say, you know what, I wasn't on board with the choice, but I'm like, you know what, again, I wasn't on choice with Tim Burton, wasn't on choice with Clooney. There's been a lot of different people. So, but I was willing to kind of wait till we see what it looks like. The initial photos of the suit that we got months ago and him looked decent. Then we get I watched the whole reveal and stuff. I'm not sold that the director Matt Reeves, I don't know if he has a comprehension of Batman that I'm willing to respect. I kept hearing him say, "Oh, this is a Batman that's his second year, doesn't know what he's doing," but he makes his car, he makes his bike, he makes his armor. He. If you know anything about Batman, Batman's a team player, right? He doesn't get word on his own. Now, if his whole reason for doing it this way is just to show it different than it's been done before, that's not a good enough reason. You have to take some certain things, okay? So I wasn't like a huge fan like on that. And then I checked out what Matt Reeves has done before, and again, I just kept thinking there's probably 100 people who have written Batman from a writer's perspective that I think could have done a way better job on what I heard him talk about this movie. Sure, he's excited to do it. Who wouldn't be excited to do Batman? But not everybody just gets to write Batman. Most people in comics have to earn it, and they have a different vision and stuff like that. So again, I don't know where the choice was for Matt Reeves. When we talked about Powers, Project Power last week, again, I was like, why does this guy get to write Batman? Again, even though Batman's been around for years, a lot of his stories, the best of the best stories, are fantastic. I kept thinking, what could Scott Snyder do given the chance to do this? Like, how good his run before his New 52, when he was writing Detective Comics, when he put Dick Grayson in on the cowl, like, I kept thinking of those things. So the end of this panel, we get this trailer, and I see a character who's supposed to represent Bruce Wayne. And in every iteration of Batman, Bruce Wayne has had a similar look that was clearly not this Pattinson guy's look. I sent our guys on our private chat, like, everybody, Google Peter Parker Spider-Man 3 and his emo dance, and then take a picture of Robert Pattinson. Same goddamn look. I have never envisioned Bruce Wayne being emo. That haircut doesn't do it. That's not to say Pattinson, yeah, what the hell is that? Like, that's awful. Like, straight up awful. Okay? Now, there's another picture of Pattinson that people had showed from another movie, maybe John can pull that one up, where he does look pure Bruce Wayne, and I was on board from that.
Cosmopolitan, that's the movie.
Like, look at that. Like, that's what I want to see. Look, there's color in his face. He looks like he could be a millionaire playboy. It wasn't just one scene from that trailer. It was a couple of scenes where he looked like that. Okay? Everything else about the trailer, it looked good, shot good. I was surprised it's 25%. My other gripe will be that we have the Riddler, we have potential Catwoman, they look like Jokers, right? They look like clowns, right? And then we've got Penguin. The Falcones, right? So we've got 4 distinct, things going on, and you want to tell Batman's story. So let's go back to the previous Batman run where we had Mr. Freeze, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, and Two-Face, and Riddler. This movie's going to be a train wreck and a disaster. There's no possible way you can do all of these things. Fine, everybody's excited about it. I'm happy people are excited because what we got was visually stunning or whatever. Cool. But again, name me the last time we had any movie that had that many important characters, right? And they each got their own. The last thing I will say is everybody thought that this first trailer was good. Go back and watch the Batman Begins trailer. That's how you do a trailer. That's how you get it.
I think you have to preface it with COVID-19. This is not Andre. I get it, but you can't contrast the two.
Okay, so, well, whatever.
It's not a fair comparison. But yeah, okay. I get what you're saying. Because
I'm saying for a first impression, these are my impressions. These are my thoughts. Sure, down the road, maybe they release a better trailer. This trailer wasn't a horrible looking trailer. Like, it looks like they've got a lot done. They've got the scenes. And again, the last scene where we just see Batman beating the shit out of somebody, I don't know where you're getting.
I feel like, to the point, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. So,
but this is not a Batman that I've seen, nor is it a Batman that I think potentially, as someone who's seen a lot of different Batmans from books, movies, videos, all this is not a character.
We don't know the nature of the rest of that scene.
So quickly, as again, I want to give Rob time and partial to this. To your point, I think they were damned if they do and damned if they don't. They had to put something out, and this is what they did. We don't know if the haircut was from, a time lapse when he was younger or older. In terms of, the trailers, we're in a very weird situation with COVID. So let's all put, and we all said before, like, you don't want to show too much. So let's just wait and see what happens. Who knows? Like I
He
get what
looks
you're
younger
saying,
with this
Andre.
haircut. He looks younger with this cut, though.
Let's
'Cause he's
wait
like
and see,
35-ish.
because the one nice thing about these podcasts and recording is that we've been right on things and we've been wrong on others. So you've been wrong, I've been wrong, Rob's definitely been wrong numerous times,
Well,
and John's been wrong and John's been right.
No,
So
I'm
like,
not. I
that's
don't
we'll,
make any
we'll go
assumptions.
through it. So like,
wanna
and that's the fun thing about this is that we're having these conversations, and there will definitely be a right and a wrong answer.
I want to add
so
something to this, in that the last time a trailer, I don't want to use the word upset me, but I wasn't impressed with, was for Batman Dark Knight Rises. They had released 2 pictures, and it was Anne Hathaway on the Batpod and Bane. And I remember that made me say, look, I cannot watch or look at anything else because I'm not liking the direction of this.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, when I saw that movie, I was absolutely right. That movie was a train wreck. All those things that I saw was like just a disaster. Listen, I don't want the movie to bad.
Well, tell me the time. Okay, but tell me the time when it's a pleasant surprise. Tell me the time when you saw something that looked bad, but it was actually good. Because
that looked bad.
Wolverine?
For
Yeah.
Batman.
Hugh Jackman Wolverine, maybe?
tell me the last time you saw a trailer that looked bad, but actually you enjoyed it. Do you have an example of that at all?
That
Or is
looked
your
bad, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Or is everything
Pleasantly.
you've seen has been 100% on?
No. You know what? I'll think of it as Rob goes.
Okay.
But like there's other things like
Because we can all go with the things that the poo-poo platter of movies that look bad.
I would
but
say
there's-
Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Those early shots of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, we were like, well, good. And then now he defines Wolverine.
yeah.
But yeah, we should definitely let Rob go because we're going to run out of time.
Yeah, Rob. Rob's gonna go all
Okay.
James Gunn. It's like, this is the greatest.
Go blow up
listen,
your mic.
Stu, you and I were talking about this. Well, we're all of the chat, but man, Matt Reeves showed some serious excitement for this character, for this property. I would definitely watch a trailer, but if you want to have more understanding, you got to watch that panel. Don't worry that he looks like he just came out of shooting Tombstone 2 with that shirt and mustache. Listen, I've watched this trailer.
Just like the mustache I have now currently.
I've watched this trailer about 28 times. I watched it a couple times this morning because I wanted to understand Andres. I saw his thing early this morning with the emo stuff. It's all a matter of context. And in so much as that, listen, he's obviously at some type of church or whatever it is. His hair could be slicked back, kind of like mine is. Something happens, the hair falls down. I mean, we have to remember that hair is, this is not Ben Affleck taking his cowl off and his hair is perfect, right? We saw Pattinson, when he's got as John said, they
the mascara and his hair was like everywhere.
Yeah,
which is
they
what you'll look like if
the
you take off a
eyeshadow.
mask.
When you take off a mask, you're not looking perfectly coiffed like Ben Affleck had in Justice League, right? So, he rescues this woman with the car and he's looking and his hair is down. Or he's on the motorcycle and his hair is down. I don't think we can judge that he's an emo Bruce Wayne based on those shots. Again,
But that's 3 shots, brother.
we're at
it's also-
25% of what was. We're at 25% of what is filmed, and they don't film sequentially.
To be fair, Andre's never had long hair, so he doesn't know what it's like to have long hair that goes all the way. Like, look, if I was filming right now, emo, like it goes all the way down. Like, but I put gel to go back. But if it gets wet, guess what? My
He
hair
could,
goes down.
maybe he's gonna comb it back.
It's 25%. This is like for 25%. This is what you're showing us, James Gunn. You've practically finished your film and you're showing us nothing. 25%. You know what this?
He's showing us all his friends.
Watching this quite a few times. This has it's a mystery. It reminds me a little bit of Seven in its tone. This is a planned trilogy. I think that's Colin Farrell as the Penguin. And shut up. And
Andre's favorite person.
And as we listen, he looks great because he's got the prosthetics. And there's a lot of people we don't know. There's a lot of speculation, but we might only see a little glimpse of Penguin, and it leads into the second movie. This is a year 2. I know you didn't like the fight scene of Batman beating the shit out of that guy. I loved it. But, again, context, Matt Reeves said he doesn't know himself yet. He knows he's doing this, but, there's a duality in him that he hasn't figured out. And he talked about that Darwin Cook storyline. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Where Batman he understands I have to do this, but how do I reconcile kicking the crap out of somebody but staying true to without crossing that line? and he said he pulled a lot from that storyline. So in terms of the psyche of Batman. So all I'm saying is, man, this is way more than I thought we were going to get, to be very honest with you. This is way more. Like, this closed out this fandom. It blew it off the roof. You started with Wonder Woman, you end with Batman. I can't believe we got this much out of 25% to 30% of a filmed movie. I want more. I can't wait to see this. Paul Dano as the Riddler, man, his voice is haunting. His voice is so haunting. And I'm telling you, rewatch this trailer. Think about Seven. Think about I'm telling you, this
Saw.
This movie,
just wait till the next one comes out, because his mind is set. Like,
this movie is, I think it's going to do amazing things, and I'm super excited for it. Can you tell? I'm trying to be reserved. I'm being reserved right now as I'm talking, because I was going bananas.
I've never been a DC apologist, but geez, man, like, I'm really just like laying a lot of damage control for DC, and I never thought this was going to happen. So that's
so. Wait,
that's
what? So what are you saying? Are you in fan of the? Are you in favor of this trailer or no?
I'm fine with it.
You're fine.
It's
a
neutral stance. It's a neutral stance.
But you,
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I'm fine. It's fine. Like,
wait a minute. We can go back to your text messages. You're like, wow, that's a trailer. Like, you were.
Wow, that is a trailer. Wow, that's a trailer. Like,
that's a trailer.
Like, wow, I can't believe we got a trailer. Like, that's the wow. Not wow, the trailer was amazing.
Okay, so I can't
believe we got a trailer, because.
But wait a minute. We saw out of all of this. Okay, so like fandom is this, to me, again. You kick it off with Wonder Woman 84 and you end it with Batman. Like, that.
It's a good end cap.
It was great. It was amazing.
I think both had plus and minuses. To Andre's point, Wonder Woman gave too much. This Batman, I'm surprised it gave as much as it did. Yeah. If I had to gauge them, I'd rather have the Batman trailer, because it gave much less. I have no idea what's happening in this movie. And it doesn't give away any money shots because it's only 25% done. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm frankly cool with that. I don't want to know all that. I didn't want to see Andy Serkis as Alfred. I didn't want to see it, and it was perfect. It just laid out just a little bit, and I can make up my mind.
You could hear him, right?
That Wonder Woman thing was just like, to Andre's point, perfect. It's like everything is there. I'm like, all right, well, do I need to see this movie now? Because now I know the entire movie. It's like, I guess I will, just for this podcast.
But we didn't even see
but
Falcone.
I wasn't. Yeah,
we didn't see him. And Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. I'm super stoked
Again,
about it.
I want them to hold back. I want them to keep me interested, and I'll wait and see what happens. To Andre's point, that Nolan trailer is magnificent. It's one of the best trailers, but at the same time, they had more of the movie to work with to hold back. But also the fact that Nolan has more clout to say, I only want this to be shown. And there was enough kind of buildup. So let's see if Matt Reeves has the same pull to say, I don't want you to show everything.
And you know what? Like, you guys are making a big deal out of the year too, which is great. But it's also like The Dark Knight, the second movie, was basically Batman year 2 or 3. It wasn't like 10 years in his career. So listen, it's cool that
age Batman. It's a different age. Batman. So it's Batman's middle age doing it, and then Pattinson younger.
Unknown Batman or untested Batman, like we've had parts of that before. It's cool to get this different,
but never a detective.
But like I said, for me, like,
we've never seen him use his brain, Andre. Every single time it's like gadgets.
Never been a detective.
Never been a detective. And we talked about that numerous times. Podcasts going way back, we're like, we want a detective Batman.
Use it in this trailer? You're just going on what they're telling us.
Yeah, but I guess.
But they never emphasized it at all. They never said Batman was a detective. So at least they're saying it this time around.
Second Batman movie.
What's that? Sorry.
Detected in the Dark Knight as well.
Well, in terms of though, like yeah, okay. So he pulled the.
So I'm just saying. Listen, I want the detective movie as well, but again, they haven't showed us anything. So it's cool. It's cool that you guys are so, like, Rob, not you guys. Sorry to put Rob's so excited. You could tell him that, oh my God, Ace the Bat Hound's gonna be it. He's like, oh my God, I love dogs.
No, I just got a dog. I named him Ace.
Andre, that's for the Batman Beyond movie. But
my dog's name is Harley Quinn. All right, it is actually Harley Quinn.
Cautiously optimistic. That's all we can ask for. At this point, DC needs a win. They've been getting their butts kicked for so long. Like,
Wonder Woman's going to be their win.
What's going to be their win?
Wonder Woman 84 is going to be their win.
But to your point before, it's a win as a move, but they're not going to make any money off of it. So, like, what is a win? It's not going to make $1 billion. A win is Wonder Woman makes 1.2 billion. That's not going to happen. So it's no longer a win.
Nobody's going to make that again, dude. Not in the age of COVID. Not
Yeah,
major.
I agree with Andre. We're looking about 10 years before that happens
Tough.
again.
All right. Well, that's we're at the 2-hour mark plus.
Wow.
We are gonna close this off. So now, actually, Rob, where can they find you on the internets?
At
On
Rob
Matt
Guett.
Reed's Twitter. He's all
Yeah.
over it.
I'm just been following. Please release some more information.
Just check all the replies. It's all Rob.
Rob is there. Yeah, we're
Yeah, on Instagram and on Twitter at Rob Guett. And then I think John and I are still. I think we're doing on Mondays some
We're gonna
Facebook
try
Live
Mondays,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting some good. A lot of views and a lot of comments, and from a lot of the people from the store. So thanks for that. It's been a lot of fun.
John and Andre, I've already done your plug for you, but if you want to do it again, now's the chance.
Yeah, the Heroes World Online. We did set up a Twitter for the podcast, though, Heroes World Pod. If you want to kind of hit us on Twitter and tell us topics or talk about what we've talked about.
And talk about how Andre is wrong.
No, not at all.
No,
Talk how Rob is wrong. No, don't start that. Don't start that. Oh, Andre has his own thoughts and feelings, and don't do that, Rob. Don't put that evil on him. Don't you dare. Don't put that evil on him.
Listen,
So that's my Talladega Nights impression. Don't put that
anytime
evil on
somebody
me.
says I'm wrong, I go by my track record of selling people amazing stuff. Like I got Rob back into comics, so I don't know how wrong I was recommending that. Anytime people comes in the store, want to talk comics, I'm gonna get you your first hit. So
Yep.
however people feel about my
Hitmaker.
Let
will never be unsatisfied with what I sell you. And
let us.
So if that's wrong, I don't want to be right, baby.
Well, here's the thing. We all have to be wrong because the podcast is not fun if we all agree. So, yes, you need a little bit of a push and balance, and that's why it works. And frankly, we've all been right and we've all been wrong. No one is 100%. It's just not possible. So I look forward to, us being right and wrong in various ways going forward, although we'll really highlight it when Rob gets it wrong because he is
Yeah, where's that Namor movie, guys?
It's
Nowhere.
It's soon.
Get
It's
out
soon.
of here. Whatever.
It's coming.
It's out.
I actually, as quickly, I actually liked a lot of the featurettes they talked about, how they did the floating stuff, because Marvel could just steal all that stuff now from the Namor movie. It's perfect. They're like, well, let DC try to figure that out. And the way they're like, oh yeah, harnesses didn't really work well. So basically what we did was we had this crane. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you taking notes, Kevin Feige? It's like Dolph Lundgren. Instead of having him on a horse, we put him on a seesaw. So we just put him up. I'm like, take notes,
They're
Feige.
like, oh, really? Tell
Let
me
these
more.
guys do it.
Although they didn't pronounce it right. It's a teeter-totter, not a titter-totter.
Yeah.
That's something completely different.
Yeah, teeter-totter.
Rob's got
I
that
sat there and I'm like, way to take some notes, boys. This is perfect. Nick the Submariner, it's getting ready for you. The true anti-hero. Screw you, Black Adam. You're a bum. You're a bum. So,
Thanks, DC Fandom. Appreciate it.
Again, great job, everyone involved in the DC Fandom. That was a good job. I enjoyed some of it. Good job. There's always areas for improvement, just like this podcast. For your
Stu is
takes,
vengeance.
your feedback, comments below in our YouTube is always welcome. Please let us know your thoughts on the various topics. God, we went through the whole entire 9-hour panel. So there's a few things we missed. Diversity panels and CNN Real Heroes. I just couldn't do it. There was a weird Wonder Woman game they played, which is basically werewolf.
Man or something.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm out.
Cross. So there's stuff they were just filling time with. I'm like, guys, we're better than this.
Yeah.
So anyways, nonetheless, thank you all for listening. Comment, share below, like. It really goes a long way for us to continue doing it.
Yes, subscribe on the YouTube if you are watching on YouTube, and definitely leave a review and a comment on the iTunes. It helps us get in the
subscribe
searches.
to iTunes.
Yeah, subscribe to everything
Yes.
and give us a rating. It helps us with the searches and stuff.
And let's all be cautiously optimistic of the DC. We need them to be good, because if Marvel is good and they don't push each other, then it's a WWE, WCW. The best things happen when they're both fighting each other. It's never good when one guy is a lead and they don't have to try anymore. So let's hope that both are strong. That's the goal. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, listening, following. Have a good one. See you all later.
Thank you, Stu, for putting all the work and getting all this together for us.
Yeah. See ya.